And we're live. What's going on? Yeah.
Hey man,
What's up, devils? We're here with another episode of Deathmatches and Death Metal, and we got our man all the way down here. All you paid scroonies that have been coming in my email have been requesting this man, Kevin Burstler from Monumental Discharge, baby. Oh yeah.
what up?
You know, when I'm not pumping really hard, getting my fucking pectorals all hard and I don't know. I'm trying to be like J Dog, but I can't do a good enough J Dog impression. I gotta like
You got?
watch him and then go into it. You watch J Dog at all, Kevin?
I'm not sure who that is.
He's a dude from Hell's Headbangers who just talks about music every single day. He has a new video
Oh
on
yeah, yeah,
YouTube.
the guy. Yeah, he's like real muscular guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's pretty good. I like him. I met him in person. He's actually I touched him when I met him. Yeah, because I wanted to see if he really was a hard body. So when I met him, I shook his hand. Guy's got fucking ham hock hands. They're fucking huge. Like I felt like a child, when I shook his hand. And then he didn't notice, but I copped a little feel of fucking one of his shoulders when he wasn't looking. I was trying to pass it off like I was tapping, like, hey, let's go over here. But really, I was trying to feel that meat, and he's a strong dude. Yeah,
Looks like.
yeah. Oh, he feels just like he looks. That's the way I'll put it. So my first question for you do you feel the way you look?
Not really. A lot of people like often ask me like, "Hey man, are you okay? Like, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Your face." And I'm like, it's just my resting sad face. Like I just naturally my face is like just looks depressed, but I'm not depressed. So I don't feel as I look. I often feel, just really thankful for so much and really happy, but I look the opposite.
My wife has that too. Like it's funny because I was like I was scrolling through Reddit, and on Reddit it says like one sign that your partner has PTSD, and it's like they always ask that you're okay, or they always ask if you're mad at them. And I ask her all the time, but it's because she looks fucking mad a lot of the time, like I'll go in the room and she's just sitting there just like not having it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, I'm focused. And I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, and I feel like that's just what happens too. Like I've been in a relationship for like 8 years now, or 9 years now, going on 10. And it's like, I've never had a single doubt, in my relationship. But then when I think about it and I'm like, holy fuck, like this thing's been going on for 9 years. Like when I actually take it, like my head out of my body to like think about it, I go, wait a minute, like, is everything okay? So then I'm like, I'll like ask that question, like, hey, do we still have that fire and shit like that? She's like, why the fuck are you asking me that shit? Like everything's fine. Like are you insecure? I'm like, no, I'm not insecure. I just think that it's crazy to have a streak that's just going for so long, and being with somebody for that long.
Like a sick Duolingo streak.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. I'm pumped up. And then I don't know if I said it on the show, but I'll make the announcement tonight. My second child has been confirmed. This November, December, baby's going to be here. So I'm going through it all over again. But the good thing is I went through it once, so I'm not all terrified and shit. I think I might have brought it up last time I talked to you. I was like, I'm going to be a dad. I was like freaking out and like telling everybody. But I do want to dive into the poop already because I have you on here. So you're with
You're gonna have to be cleaning up a lot of pooper pretty soon.
Yeah, Poop Focus Band. The new album is fucking on its way. The single is out. There's a killer single. Everybody needs to go check out right now on Spotify. Now, your last project came together. You got your hand in so many pots. You're working on tons of different projects. Telluric Effluvium is one of my fucking favorite like projects too that you're in. But what I wanted to say was, I feel like you were putting out a lot of shit hot off the heels of that pandemic, and you had that time to sit down. And now that like we are back in the flow of like reality and like, shit's back to normal basically, and whether or not COVID went away, COVID's still going around. People still have that shit everywhere, but like nobody cares anymore, pretty much. Um, you know what's funny? I'm gonna say an anecdote very quickly. There was a guy that said they compared this to COVID, the pandemic. It was about a guy whose dog was going to die, and he said the doctor said his dog would only have 24 hours left. So he said, I'm going to spend the rest of my time with my dog, until he dies. And he went home and he sat there with the dog. He said for the first 4 hours he was very sad. He said for the remaining 20 hours he was bored. And that's kind of what happened with COVID. Is like everyone was all terrified in the beginning, and then we it was beautiful for a lot of people that kind of embraced it, and then there were so many death metal releases coming out. But does everything going back to normal, is that the reason it took so long to get another Monumental Discharge fucking project out?
No, we've had the album actually finished for quite a while. We're just waiting for what feels like a good time to release it. We also have material ready for the next. We like to have like little roadmaps, so the next two releases are already solidified, at least in like number of tracks and like styles, and certain songs are already on their way. But we had Cesspit Earth, this upcoming full length, finished. I think at the latest it was finished was like early 2023. Um, just waiting for a good time to release it. It's going to be released on cassette through Barbaric Brutality in the U.S., and it's also going to be released on CD through Brutal Mind in Indonesia. And yeah, as you mentioned earlier, the first single, Waste Management's already out on all the streaming platforms. It's on our Bandcamp. You can pre-order the album if anyone's interested. And another single coming out next week on the 7th. Yeah, May 7th. And that one is called Code Brown. It's the opening track of the album.
Yes.
We're gonna have a music video that's gonna be released. Um, should be out on Invisible Oranges, and we're looking forward to it. It's obviously it's the opening track on the album. We think it's pretty representative of the overall band, the overall sound of the album, and yeah, I think it's sick.
How did you go about? Because that's the thing. Like I keep talking to Fluids about like let's do some videos or some shit, but it's like it's difficult because we're in different states, and then it's also like just like the getting a concept together and making it happen. How did that process go for you guys? Like making a video happen?
So since we're mainly a fecal themed band, we've always had this idea of like shooting a music video in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Um, and in Colorado, we have lots of beautiful parks all around the state, and the bathrooms there are very primitive style. So it's like you just open a door, there's a hole, and you use it, and that's it. So we're thinking like that'd be sick to go in there, but there's like no lights, there's no electrical outputs for us to set up lights and have stuff in case we need to charge batteries for cameras or anything. And then we're like, what if we do it like in a just like the bathroom of like some business or whatever? Like, where can we do this? And I can't remember, either our vocalist or our drummer. One of them is good friends with the guy who works for a production company, and he's like, dude, you can just use the bathrooms in my like the little the I don't know how it's called. It's like a looks like an apartment building, but there's just a bunch of just different businesses in it. And he's like, yeah, just come by on the weekend, use the bathroom here. So we did that, and the video it's not X-rated, but I get to show off some skin in it, and so I'm pretty excited for the release of that.
Is there like poop everywhere in the video? Like at some point?
No, but I think well there is poop, and what's great about the music video is the whole video, the vocalist, he's straining to release this turd, and then at the very end of the video, you see this tiny little piece, little chunk. And what's great is the we made another video that day, and that music video is going to be released later. And he made that poop out of like a brownie mix, something like that. And in the other music video, he takes a big chunk out of it. He bites into it. So disgusting. Even though it's just like flour and sugar. Um, and but when we got there, the day of, we were setting up the stuff. I was like, wait, it stinks in here. And then we're like, yo, what is that? And then we see where we were gonna set up our instruments. There's just like a big circular chunk of doo doo, and we're like, no way, like that's like actual poop. So it was a beautiful sign for the day of filming, and that's for another song from the upcoming album. That one's called Cynthia and Hemorrhoid. That should be out late May or early June. But yeah, the upcoming single Code Brown music video next week.
Hell yeah. Dude, I'm so fucking excited for this. You were one of my favorite bands like during that time when I started getting heavy into like tape collecting. I have your first full length. I have the split that you did, the shit split,
Yeah,
and I could not stop talking about you guys to everybody that like when I would like people would come over and they'd be like, oh, what's all this shit, people that don't even listen to metal. I'm like, oh, check this band out, like they're all about poop, and I just like put it on, and it's just hella funny, man. Like, yeah, I feel like you guys are actually a good gateway band, like into slam, because it's something that everyone can kind of relate to, and then and it's like it catches you off guard,
hmm
because it's like, oh, it's like like wait, it's funny, like what? I thought death metal was about death, like I thought it
it's
was.
it's about murder. It's about killing. It's about just overall human eradication through feces. So like, and part of the mission statement is like, you already touched on it. Like it's something we all relate to. Obviously, it's part of just nature, um, and for a lot of people, for so many people, myself included, all of us in the band were like, "Oh, it's so gross, so nasty," even though like we watch movies or we've seen videos or we've had experiences with way worse visual things. But it is a moment for us to laugh, and a lot of us, I'm very much like metal elitist. Like my metal has to be serious, but at the same time, I produce this stuff that makes people laugh, and that's part of the goal. We want to make people laugh, but also and Reese, our vocalist, he does a great job, or at least I think he does a great job at taking these silly, goofy ideas and making them brutal, and also mixing actual literary devices to bring out the poetry of it, which is, I'm sure so many people would say, what a pretentious thing to say about lines about poop. But he's got great meter, he's got great rhythm, great internal rhymes, great metaphors, simile, allusions, everything.
When you started writing that new album, I don't know if you were writing it at the time or you were going in to record it, but you fucking made a post and you guys said, "What should we write a song about?" And there are tons of people that posted in there, and I said you should write about a shit suit of armor. Did did that manifest, or and if mine didn't manifest, did anybody else's concept manifest?
I'd have to look back at the comments. I hope so. What we normally do when we come up with lyrics, we have this shared document called potential song titles,
Yeah, yeah, you
and
you told me about that last time.
so we just every time we have a stupid idea, we add on to it, so the document's just getting bigger and bigger every time. And what we'll do is we'll give Therese, our vocalist, we'll send them some tracks and some song titles. We're like, you picked a song title that resonates with you, and then you have full, complete creative control with what you want to do. A suit full of shit, or is that how you phrased it? A,
A suit of shit armor.
a suit of shit armor. I'm not sure, but I'm that right now is just making me have this idea of like how awesome would it be to have like a medieval shit themed album. Like you know how Brodequin they're the masters of brutal death metal period, but also like of like medieval torture styles.
Yeah.
We could take that texture of lyrics, but with our style and shit. Um, but I'm trying to remember any of the other comments. I know there's a bunch of comments. They're all hilarious. I can't remember, but actually, one of the songs on this album I co-wrote lyrics to. Is the first time I wrote lyrics for this band, and it's track two, and the song is called Number Two, and it lasts 2 minutes exactly, and it's literally just two riffs. It's total worship of Mexican porno grind, Also, like last time we talked, Ibrahim and I, we love Mexican porno grind. Uh, for anyone who's not, I mean, everyone should be interested, but for anyone who's not aware of what Mexican porno grind is, um, I think the most important elements to break it down would be the rhythm, and it's really just a polka rhythm. So 1 2 1 2 1 2, the tupa tupa rhythm, and that's inspired by norteña music from the north of Mexico, which is ultimately inspired by Czech music and German music and Polish music, especially the polka. So that song just opens with a tupa 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 tupa, and it goes the whole way through. And then I got the lyrics for the second verse, and I'm a coffee addict, so I got to write some caffeine inspired poop lyrics for that song.
Oh man, yeah, I feel that because like I feel like I avoid coffee at certain times. Like so, I work in sales. I was telling you about before I started, and like whenever someone offers me coffee, like I have been hard trained to never say no when somebody like offers something in the house. But for me, it's a hard no when it's coffee because I usually every time I have that cup of coffee, I have to go take a shit, and nothing is worse with breaking up a deal than saying, "Hey, please excuse me, can I use your bathroom?" and blow it up right now. And you're gonna hear
Yeah.
me, in there because my shit's violent. And yeah, it's I like that. I like that. Like you got to touch on the caffeine affecting it. Is there anything about so? And I have recently found this out since the last time we talked. I am lactose. Fucking yeah, and I had no idea. Like I ate. I want to say it was the Thanksgiving after we did our interview. I ate a fucking Costco mac and cheese, and I had like 2 or 3 servings of this thing. Violent flatulence. It was like just ungodly. I didn't know my body could do this, and it sucks because I just developed this out of nowhere. Like I had been completely okay with all that kind of food for a long time. Um, have you ever touched that in your songs?
Um, I'm not sure. I think once again, Reese would be the best person to ask. And I mean, I should know the lyrics, but I whenever I hear him sing, like like the bad lip reading. That's what I experience. Even when he's singing, I'll hear stuff. I'm like, "Did you say pee pee poo poo?" He's like, "No, but that's a good idea."
Yeah.
Um, but that's definitely a good idea. The lactose thing, and that makes me I was trying to relate because I don't consume any dairy or lactose stuff. I'm a vegan boy, um, but I'm trying to think the last thing that I ate that gave me a little tummy ache. I'm pretty sure it was like I had like artichokes, and they weren't like fresh. They were like in a can, and I love
Oh,
artichokes. They taste great, but like for like 3 days straight, just the most rancid bubble gut farts ever. Oh my god!
I
But
hate it.
they were you could feel it just rumbling. But thinking about artichokes makes me think about Pablo Neruda, a Chilean poet. He has this poem called "Ode to the Artichoke," or "Oda la Alcachofa," and he gives life to the artichoke, who's so valiant and brave, but at the end of the day, he gets chopped to pieces and boiled alive before he's served as a meal.
Yeah, and then he gets
Um,
revenge.
yeah. Oh yeah, shit on me. But no, I like the idea of like a lactose inspired song at least. Just like a flood, a flood of white pasty doo doo,
Oh,
liquid.
yeah, it's terrible, man. Yeah, I think the sickest. I don't know if I talked about this last time. I probably had to. The sickest I ever got, um, was there were 2 things that I did when I went to Cancun, and I fucked up, and I don't. It was probably just drinking the water because my body wasn't ready for that shit, and I totally did when I was there. But there was one point where I was at the airport and they had an outdoor like bathroom, and I went in there and it smelled like somebody fucking died in this toilet, and I took a piss and it splashed on me. So
Ugh.
like I think that it might have been that, that did it. Um yeah, I never smelled the toilet like that in my life. And then my shits though, when I came back, they smelled like that toilet. So I go to the doctor and they tell me fucking that's what makes me think I probably caught some virus or something, or like, you know, some, not a virus, but some bacteria or some shit, because I go to the doctor and they give me this fucking pill that's like a giant, I can't remember what cartoon it was, but there's a cartoon, I think it's Rocco's Modern Life, where they have to like pull his mouth open and like shove this giant pill down, and then they like close his mouth and then hit him on the head with a hammer so it goes down. And like that's what I had to take a giant pill like that to like not feel sick anymore. And
Did it help?
it did, yeah. It was so bizarre because it literally stopped everything the next day, and it was to the point where it was like 8 days straight of violent diarrhea, and I just kept drinking Pedialyte. Like I called them up, and they were like, "You are probably insanely dehydrated. Like, come in. That sounds terrible." And when I went in, they like checked me, and they're like, "Actually, you're really hydrated." And I'm like, "I've been drinking Pedialyte and refilling everything. It's just coming back out though. It's not staying." And yeah, I had the most vivid fever dream too from that too. It was strange. Yeah, I like woke up, like I had like an abstract dream to where it was like I have this weird dream where I'm in a line of electricity. Like I'm literally like in an electrical wire, and then I can't move or anything. It's like sleep paralysis, but I'm not like awake, you know, like I'm literally in this line completely flat, and then a wave of electricity just keeps passing through me. And every single time it hits me, it's like just the most jarring, like painful feeling. And then I just can't get out of it. And then I fucking woke up, and what did I think? I I like thought that I lost my nose or something. Like I thought that I lost a body part on my face. I can't remember what it was specifically, but I was like feeling for it, and I'm like, it's gone, it's gone. Like I lost my fucking nose, and then I had my dog who sleeps in my bed, and it like kind of grounded me. And then I was like, okay. And I went to the bathroom, threw hella water on my face, and like that feeling of just insane terror went away. And I'm like a 20 fucking 7-year-old man when this happened. So it was the weirdest experience. I had like a night terror, and I wonder if other people have that kind of shit. Like it has to happen. Like that shit has to be a thing. I've never heard it described like that. Like I feel like that's the best way I can articulate it, but like yeah, that was fucking crazy, man. And then it was just diarrhea for
I'm
days.
sure many people experience stuff like that. I can't imagine any experience like that in my experience. But I'm sure tons of other people could relate. But maybe just having that, you know, the water splash on you, the sensation of your dog bringing you back to this sense of physical materiality might help you out. And then, you know, diarrhea reminding you that
Yeah.
you're still working.
It like makes me wonder if like that's what people feel when they're like when you see like those public freak out videos of someone just like totally gone, and like they're like like just repeating the same thing over and over again. It's like if that's that feeling, that's the single worst feeling in the fucking world, dude. That's
Same.
worse than anything else. Yeah, than anything I've ever felt. I never had that other than that one time. Like I remember maybe having that a few times as a child, like the electrical dream, like that kind of thing. Maybe once or twice. But yeah, as an adult that was fucking insane. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you, or I wanted to bring up something. This is a big one that I've been talking about with a lot of people recently. So I asked you guys last time when you're on the show if I had been wiping my ass the right way, and I described the way that I did it, and I haven't gone back to revisit it, but the way you do it is while you're sitting on the toilet, right? That's
Yeah.
what you said. Yeah, and I think that's what both of you said. And I said what I do is I stand up, I turn around, I wipe while facing the toilet, and I throw it in. And I asked you guys if you know, am I doing it wrong? And you said no. There's probably a lot of different ways to wipe it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the beauty of like
the
human expression. It's about diverse experiences and expressions. Really, it is like as long as you understand what your goal is, cleaning your ass, and like
So, damn.
Oh my god.
Are you getting raided right now?
There's like a crash or something.
Did that just happen outside?
Yeah. Shit. Holy shit, there's a crash right outside. Holy shit, cops are fucking. I gotta get my girl. Hold on.
Is everything okay?
Yeah. Claudia, ven aquí. Ven aquí. La puerta está cerrada, sí. Ven, ven, ven. Oye, cuidadito. Sí, I know. Weird.
Dude, hold up. Be careful. You might want to get down.
No, there's like cops, like they're. Holy shit,
Yeah,
bro.
that guy's like running from them and they just scream, "Put your fucking hands up."
Shit. ¿Ya se fue?
Did they hit your car?
No, that's my friend's car. I think they might hit it. Fuck. Holy shit. What the fuck? Yo, I gotta hold on. Fuck,
Yeah,
I
that's
gotta take a
totally
call.
fine. You could jump out, do your thing, take your call. Yeah. What the fuck?
Holy shit. But yeah, like I said in the message, my neighbor, he's driving. I don't know, like the cops were chasing him. He crashed into this tree right in front of my place, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And
Oh, wait, is there a car over there? Where? In the yard? Is it? You see the car? The silver car?
Oh, yes.
oh shit,
Holy.
There's a car there.
holy shit,
Damn.
fuck. Anyway, so
Oh, that's right.
it's my neighbor. I'm pretty sure it's my neighbor. And we heard some gunshots and the fucking cars crashing into everything. And then there was, we heard the cops say, put the pistol down, put the pistol down.
Yeah.
And then we didn't hear anything else after that, so.
Holy shit.
That's a car, but was it parked or what?
Was your neighbor cool?
Dude, fucking, wait. Oh no, yeah, okay, he's cool. He's getting, he's a great, I mean, like, I don't know what the fuck happened, but he's a total nice dude.
It's okay. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Damn.
What he said?
He said leave the drugs alone. But yeah, he's a total nice dude. He's just obviously struggling.
Oh God.
Like out of all our neighbors are cool. This guy's like definitely like
He's just a
top
nice
top guy,
he's
totally
nice.
nice.
He probably spoke out on Diddy.
Oh my god. Oh
I'm
shit.
so shocked my car's good. I was like, oh, my car's fine.
Dude, and
They
then
didn't hit it?
They didn't hit it at
Oh.
all. They were like running in from right here. You can see the tire
Fuck.
right here. Right around.
Dude, that's crazy.
Dude, I wonder what happened.
Look
I
at
caught that in real time too. Like I was like sitting over here like what the fuck? And then I heard them yelling at him. Like they were like, get on the fucking ground. Like they're yelling something at him and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, are they about to start shooting? Like that's what it sounded like, dude. Holy fuck.
yeah. At least like, you know, he's I mean, he's as good at he's better than dead, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. We were just talking about that. People fucking, you know, you never know. Like some shit could happen. Could have been a
Yeah.
medical emergency.
He just needed to poop really bad. Oh yeah, what we were talking about was like how to wipe properly.
Yeah. How to fucking.
All right, so going back to business, what I like to do, I stay seated. I fold my paper.
Look at my truck.
All right, I fold my paper, and I
to go look through your car?
nah, not right now. All right, we're gonna go on a field trip. We're gonna go check my car, see if it's okay.
Yeah.
I drive a Toyota Prius, you know, keep it
Oh,
clean.
me too.
Hell yeah, dude, so much fucking mileage.
Eight gallons, all you need for that tank, and then you're good for like 300 miles. Shit.
And but I went to Japan like after we did the last interview. I went to Japan and heated bidets, so nice.
Heated bidet? I didn't even know that was
Yeah.
a thing.
Absolutely amazing. Heated bidets Hopefully the internet connection ain't too bad over here. Oh shit! Oh, one of my other neighbor's cars is fucked.
Smell like
There's the keys on the ground.
We're definitely good.
Oh shit!
My Toyota Prius
so
is good.
lucky because
Oh my,
look
both
at
my,
this.
yeah, both my fucking cars.
You were so lucky.
There's a shoe and the keys on the ground in case you want some. No, I think that's from. I mean, I don't know. That's what I thought at first, but it looks perfectly where like the mirror is.
No. Look, they stuck them. They stuck them with that.
Yeah.
We're just gonna stay outside the car. I don't know if you guys know our family or anything like that, but okay.
These are our cars.
Yeah, we're just making
Okay,
sure
that's
they're
fair.
good.
I'm just giving a fair warning. I didn't want to like have it happen and then I get mad for no reason.
Yeah, no worries.
I do. Yeah.
No, this is our
neighbors
friend
that we know.
Ash's. Ash, yeah.
We know her, so.
She home.
She should be. I mean, her car's.
I feel like she'd be out here if she was home. She would hear all that.
True.
He
Yeah.
does, yeah.
Let me hear. Yeah.
I'm so shocked my car out there didn't get hit or this one didn't get hit. That's crazy.
Which one's yours?
This truck's mine and I have a blue one.
And the blue one is from.
Check it for me real quick, just make sure. This is gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's that number whenever you're ready.
And then just able to make her name back into here.
Ash, just Ash.
Just Ash.
Yeah.
Okay, apologize.
You're good.
Yeah, I have the others that was on. Are you FaceTiming her?
Yeah. Well, I'm in an interview right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like.
You gotta promote the new Monumental Discharge album. Cesspit
It's
Earth.
great, whatever it is.
Approved.
I'm gonna go look at my car up front.
All right. Pardon us.
You got that, sorry.
Uy, Dios. ¿Y viste la sangre?
No.
Ahí. Oh shit! You gotta break the news.
Can I get some bad news real quick?
Oh fuck. Yeah, I gave him her number. Nah, I think his car keys are under there if that's property you guys want. And his shoe. Hey, he has his shoe under here and his car keys, his shoe. His property you were asking about?
I mean, that's
We're good, yeah.
All right.
should I tell him it's his trailer or this RV?
Nah.
Yeah, I'll have to figure that out. Dude, what if I here, come on, let's go to my car.
Ask another question.
What if
Yeah. Like I'm just watching your fucking situation unfold.
It's kind of sketchy.
My boy about to commit fraud. Yeah, true. Nah. All right, so my friend, his Subaru out front, he got hit randomly. He was visiting friends and family in Florida, and some dumb ran into his car, and then so he came back to it and he had a little boo-boo on the side of his car, and he's like, yo, should I tell them that like this wasn't there before the cops come by? But they got cameras, so.
We have the same cops.
Right there.
Look at that car.
Oh yeah, she was gonna be here.
Look at that car in the middle.
Oh shit, there's another one.
We were walking, like, when they did the tip maneuver, like, there was two cop cars did the tip maneuver right next to the car. I'm like, oh my god, this movie's gonna get hit again before it
No.
goes.
I wish they would have. I wish they would have.
Right? Yeah, you gotta leave the car.
Yeah. Look at this one though.
All right, we're gonna check out the damage of the fucking town.
With the decorations on the rocks.
Oh man.
It's over the rocks. Oh, look at that.
There's also some nice neighbors right here, really nice people.
Oh.
God damn.
That's funny. It's good. Scar also got hit in the back.
Damn.
I'm glad no one got hurt.
I'm gonna FaceTime Bailey.
That's the bump.
Wow, this looks like a cops episode. Bad
It
boys,
is.
bad boys. What you gonna do? Who are you FaceTiming?
I was gonna FaceTime my friend, but my friend was living here, Bailey. You know Bailey, kinda.
All right. So yeah, next question.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, so I found out I've been wiping my ass wrong, fucking for years. No, I finally tried it the other way, and
How'd you like it?
dude, I use about a quarter the amount of toilet paper I used to use. I don't clog the toilet anymore too. So like those were the two things people always hated me for, is I would always use all their toilet paper.
Yeah, we should hit
And-
my car.
And then I'd always clog the toilet. But yeah, no, I found
Yeah,
that
that's-
out. I told a good friend of mine
Oh,
the
that's-
same thing that you guys said, and and they said, "No, they were just being nice to you. That's the wrong way to wipe your ass, bro." And he said, "What are you, a fucking toddler?" And I was like, "Damn." So I fucking I did switch it up, But the only problem is now
Today,
I just can't remember all the time to wipe the right way. So
Yeah. Some people fold. Some people crumple. Some people have the heated bidets and have a better life.
I know. I wish I had a heated bidet. That would be crazy.
Speaking of Japanese poop, there's this classic film called Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead,
Oh,
and
what?
it's amazing. It's as amazing as it sounds. Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. Also, in addition to watching the movie, you gotta watch the trailer too. Like, they're coming. Just the trailer is equally as good.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I want to get into horror films with you too, because you post some very good horror films on your story frequently.
That's it. Almost all the time. I haven't been doing it recently that much, but usually at least one a day. But like past maybe month or so, I've been really busy with work and school. I'm a full-time high school teacher, and I'm also working on my doctorate in education. So, but normally, like when I'm not too busy, I watch like maybe one a day.
The house, that would suck.
Do you only watch old horror movies, or do you watch like have you been checking out keeping up with the newer stuff?
Yeah, I try some new stuff. I try to be really open, and maybe too open, because like I'll watch stuff without reading anything about it, without reading reviews, because I want to go into it with a blank prejudice, without bias at all. And sometimes that's it's not effective for finding good movies, because I'll watch a bunch of stuff that I personally don't like. However, one relatively recent movie that I really liked, it had a huge impact. I thought it was so amazing. It's called Creep.
Yeah.
And have you seen it?
Yes, I love that movie.
It was so great. I typically don't like. I even say I kind of hate found footage style movies. They just seem corny and cheesy to me. But this one was so good. I was captivated. It's really for a movie fan too, with all the references and the meta aspect of it, and the final. I don't want to spoil it, because I'd recommend the movie thing. Yeah, but oh my god, phenomenal! And even I think even the more impacting moment was seeing the credits. Was just those two guys. Technically, there's a third person. One of the guys, I think it's his wife, who is the lady on the phone call. Like in the movie, she plays the sister, but in real life, she's the wife of one of the guys. Phenomenal artistry and execution. And then the second movie, when I saw that there was a sequel, I was like, nah, man, the movie's perfect. Like, why you got to make a sequel? And then I watched the sequel, and I was like, all right, I like it. And I was thinking there might be a a third one.
That's my car.
Um. Oh shit. my friend's talking to the cops right now. They said, "Hey, is this damage to your car?" And he's like, "Yeah, but that was already there." But yeah, Creep is good. Creep 2 is good. I watched another recent horror movie. Do you remember what new horror movie we watched recently? Can we watch one?
Final Destination.
No. we were in a Final
That's
Destination
horror to
kick.
me.
Yeah. Because we had just finished the Saw movies, and we were like, let's watch another of the era. So we watched the Final Destination movies, but that's like for humor. I'm trying to remember another one. There's this other one. It's I don't know how many years ago it is, but maybe like 2017, 18, something like that. I'm pretty sure it's just called A Classic Horror Story, and it's Italian. And once again, it's for fans of film, and especially the Italian giallo style stuff of like the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But it's very modern, well done. Oh, I remember another modern one I watched recently. It's called X, um, and there's a prequel to it that just came out, or I don't know, just came out, but like maybe a year or two after
There's
X
2
came
new
out.
ones coming.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
But I like that one too. I had it gave me some like Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes. Maybe probably just because it was in Texas. Um, but it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, like I feel like it's a safe bet to. Hold on, I gotta take another call. Sorry.
Let's go. So yeah, no, like I was saying, with that album, I would put the American Pictures. I'd be like riding with somebody. I remember before it came out, my uncle came to visit, and he's like, "So what kind of music shit you been working on?" I'm like, "Oh, check this out." So I put it on, and he was the first person I really showed it to. And like halfway through the song, I started feeling uncomfortable because of all the weird shit I said on there. And then he's looking at me funny and shit, and I'm like, like this probably isn't a good, because I was so stoked because we knew it was going to be on a label, and I was like, yeah, like someone picked it up, it's legit, it's good music. It was more like an experiment in filth,
Yeah.
and then another time I put it on when I was driving a coworker to drop him off, like to pick his car up or some shit, and I put on the song Lizard Queen, or yeah, Lizard Queen, and I start like driving him, and fortunately he gets a phone call as soon as the song started, so I turn the volume down and I'm like kind of listening to it, and he's not listening to it, so he's just on his phone. And then I'm like, a bad idea, so I like pop the CD out and like switch it to like some fucking some like Weezer sounding like fucking band, and then he's like, "So wait, what were you just listening to?" And I'm like, "You know what? I don't think you're ready for it. If you want to, you can check it out on Spotify." But it was bad.
Yeah, I feel like bands like ours or an album like that of yours and other projects, you gotta like you have to find yourself into it. I can't remember which Instagram meme page posted, but it's like when you first start listening to metal, what's it like? And it's like listening to like a snippet of like Master of Puppets or Fade to Black, something like that. And it's like, where are you now? And it's like the bonked emoji just looks, and it's
Yep.
just like most undiscernible gore grind in the background. So like, I feel like I would love to have someone just like hand another person like, hey, check out this band. They play disgusting gore grind. Check them out. But for most people, maybe they gotta earn their way towards that, or like earn their taste buds, adjust them first.
I was like grossed out by it for a long time. When I first saw Fluids on my timeline, I blocked them. I didn't block them, but I muted them temporarily. Like I did like a 15-day, because they, on their original account, they posted gore like just regularly.
Yeah, I remember like almost every couple of posts is like click here to see, and I was like, all right, this must be a good page then.
And then on Instagram Lives, after a while, this guy Lipoma started fucking following everybody, and I was like, "This is disgusting." He had a picture of like some surgery being done, and I was like, "How did he get away with this?" I was so offended by it. And then one day, they posted, I don't know if it was on Lipoma's page or if it was I think it was a record label that posted a Lipoma like single, and it was just a snippet, and I heard it and I was like, this is like really good melodic like death metal. Like it didn't even sound like gore grind to me, like the vocals did, but other than that it was like really dope. And then I started following him, going into his lives, and I'm like, fuck, I kind of like this gore shit. And then also at the same time I was introduced to Torso Fuck from Schuler Benson, and then I just started seeing the humor in it, like the humor side of gore. And then on Lipoma, the fucking like what Max said, he's like, I don't do like nasty gore, I don't put murder scenes, he's like, I just do interesting medical shit because it intrigues me, and it's very sad, it's like very very gloomy, and this just that feeling of despair is like what he tries to like put out in all of his shit that he makes. And it's like really fucking awesome. And then I got hooked on the gore. Then I started listening to the other shit, and it just stopped phasing me. But I'll tell you this, I want to talk about this one thing about gore right now. There are a bunch of bands that are like blowing the fuck up in this scene that like I almost want to say, like, I don't know why. Like, the artwork is fucked up. Like, that's it, right? The artwork they're getting is super in your face, fucked up. Like, there's one that literally, I can't think of what the band's name is, but they just have like a leg that's like cut off, and you just like see it from the side view or something. It's like a limb. And they're super popular. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't get it. Like, it literally sounds like some guy's recording something for the first time ever. It's just like very poorly recorded snare drums and like, simple guitar riffs, like some shit that, maybe would have been dope like in the early 90s,
Yeah.
And
I feel like you just answered the question, why is it popular? It's like a shocking picture to lure people in, intrigue them, and then simplicity and like the raw aspect is like saying, I feel like maybe at least subconsciously, if you're listening to something that's raw, it's like, oh, I can do this. I just press the record button on my phone and get something similar. So maybe it's like a form of connection with that. And then also the simple riffs, it's like, hell yeah, I understand it. Because with gore, the music, it's so hard to understand anything. Obviously, there's no chance of understanding the lyrics, but if you can understand a riff and then a simple drum beat, you can at least understand the feeling of it. There's this one band, I always use them in my Instagram stories, but I don't even remember their name. I think it's like Larval Therapy or something.
yeah,
But they have a bunch of dumb memes in their songs, and the song I posted today was like stick on chola eyebrows, and like stupid stuff like that is hilarious. So maybe that invites people to come and check them out because of their dumb song titles. And it's like it's a way to like touch on and talk about these graphic things of reality and humanity, like violence and murder, but they do it in a way that's like comical. And I work with a lot of young kids because I'm a teacher, and I feel like so often their humor and mine too is quite cynical of humanity. We're not making jokes about like hope and stuff, it's all about despair, but maybe we do that to cope. But hearing like a lot of the gore grind stuff, I look into it. It's a lot of young people. For example, another band that I'm in, Before Days of Humanity, obviously a pun on Last Days of Humanity, the really good one. They or Before Days of Humanity, we just did a split with this guy. His band's called Corrosion, Korrrision, Corrosion. And the original album artwork was just a bunch of like gore collage that he'd done. And, and then like maybe a day later, 2 days later, he messaged me. He's like, "Hey bro, can we use this new album artwork?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why?" He's like, "Oh, my mom said I can't post any gore stuff." I'm like, "Your mom? Like, how old are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm in high school, man." I'm like, "What the hell?" And so I was like, "What?" I just did a split of gore grind with a high schooler, that's sick, because like the young people that keeping the music alive. But also, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, listen to your mom. She knows best. You gotta listen to her and respect her. She says no gore, no gore." And so we used a different album art work. I think he made it. I don't know how he got it, but yeah. So the gore is popular, and also the Instagram page, Last Days of Humanity, but the I of Humanity, I'm pretty sure it's the letter L. They post a lot of stupid stuff, real just like the low brain cell memes mixed with gore grind. I think it's a great combination.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking I think there's definitely a lot more than what you see on the surface with that shit, and it took me a long time to warm up to it, but when you do go into that rabbit hole, it's fucking crazy. Like I mean, it's funny when you go on like what I do sometimes is go on Metallum to find bands, and I'll go on there and search by lyrical themes.
Oh yeah.
And when you do that, dude, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, how deep do these things go? Because there were like super weird lyrical themes. Like when I was writing Picurist, I like Picurism is a lyrical theme. Click on it, and there's like a shit ton of bands that write about that. I'm like, what? Like, it's such an odd, specific thing. And it's just so bizarre. Like, there's so many bands that like, there's one band, I won't say the band's name, but they got like, I want to say over 500 releases on Bandcamp, and they put something out like every other week. And the artwork, it has artwork, it's a whole package. Every like 2 weeks they put this thing together, and it sounds like it's recorded like in a toilet.
Is it? You don't have to confirm, but I think is it the one like Phylomedusa, something, the frog theme one?
No, I love Phylomedusa though. Yeah.
Phylomedusa, I love them, and like so much of their stuff is like so different. Even on like one album, I can't remember which album because they put out a lot of stuff, but I think it's like a beach cover. I can't remember, but it's like
Yeah.
there's like doom parts. There's like gore. There's like ambient stuff. I'm like, dude, I want to meet this person, just like talk with them about music, because the music alone lets me think that they seem like a really cool, interesting person. I feel like I can get in their brain with all the different genres that they're putting out in the music.
Have you seen him? What he looks like?
No.
Dude, so he posts all sorts of pictures of himself tucking in his thing. Like, that's all that, and then I think he deleted the whole page, but he's like ripped. It's like some ripped guy that has like long blonde hair, and he's just always posting pictures like that. And then
Perfect. Now more.
when we were originally gonna do the cover for Picurist, we were trying to find somebody to do the art, and the Fluids guys, they were like, hey, let's reach out to him because we've talked to him, like they know him. And he was just AWOL like during that period of time where we were trying to get a hold of him. So I ended up just fucking doing it one day. But yeah, it was like he was supposed to be doing a tuck on our album art, and I love his music. That doom shit, that's the first thing I heard from him because it popped up in my Spotify, just random. And dude, it's amazing. Yeah, that band is something else.
Yeah, I heard him on YouTube. There's this YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's called like My Gore, MAI. And like, I don't know if it's actually from Southeast Asia, but I think when I looked at the title for the first time, maybe I thought Southeast Asia, or maybe I saw a band from Southeast Asia. And so, but it's just been in my head. Like, I just associate that YouTube channel with it. But they post a lot of like gurgle grind stuff and just like noise and bubbly gore stuff. But I don't know if you're familiar with that YouTube channel, but I'm pretty sure I saw, that's not where I heard of Phylomedusa, on that channel. Or maybe not, maybe I'm remembering wrong.
Yeah, I love finding music on channels like that too. Like, I like Death Madness. Like, they've turned me on to so much random shit. I think they're UK based. And then fuck, Slam Worldwide, of course. That once you're on Slam Worldwide, like, you just know those comments are about to be crazy as fuck, because you get so many people that are like not into the heavier shit that just happen to like subscribe and go listen to it, and they're just like, I don't know what I'm listening to. It's like, I've seen some funny ass comments on there. Fuck, speaking of absolute filth though, Cesspit Earth is now out. Came out on Friday.
Yeah, it's out.
Yeah, so everybody that's watching this, it probably is weird how my hair just totally grew out fucking since the last time we were talking. But right before the cut, some crazy shit happened, and then we had to put this interview off. So we are picking it up now. Initially, this was supposed to come out about 2 weeks ago, and everybody that was watching just witnessed what kind of happened. But it's always difficult to schedule things. So we're getting this thing taken care of right now, and it's actually kind of really good timing now that Cesspit Earth is out.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. So now that it's out, how do you feel? Do you feel like you got a weight off your chest? Or you like, were you hella eager to get this one out?
Well, we had it recorded for like over a year, and we're just waiting for getting shows lined up, festivals potential in the future, and just waiting for Barbaric Brutality to get the tapes in, and we got them. We got our tapes. So if you want to buy a tape, we'll just ship it out whenever. And then we're also waiting for Brutal Mind to send over some CDs. And then Night Shift merch has our shirts and some cassettes as well.
How's that
And
feel to be on
pretty
night
sick,
shift?
pretty dope. I've never met the Night Shift dudes, but Kareem, I know. I don't know if he's originally from Florida, but I'm from Florida, and I'm from Ormond Beach. And
Oh, no way.
yeah, and, I was getting tattoos from this one guy, and his wife's like, "Oh, you got to meet my friend Kareem. He's so cool." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, I like meeting people. They're nice." And then she's like, "Yeah, he loves that metal stuff that you like." I'm like, "Cool." And she's like, "Yeah, he's like best friends with this band called like the Black Dahlia Murder or something." I'm like, "Wait, that Kareem? Like that's like you know that guy?" And then she's like, "Yeah, he's so cool." I'm like, "Obviously he's cool," but I've never met him. But I'm pretty sure he runs Night Shift merch. I think.
Yeah, he worked for Indie Merch for a long time as like one of the head guys, and then he separated it to start his own thing, and that's Night Shift. So
Uh,
they became the official distributor of everything Black Dahlia Murder, you know? So it's pretty fucking badass to see it blow up so much. And it's what
Yeah.
got me back into death metal, like when I had a hiatus and was listening to a lot of hip hop and pursuing a hip hop career. And my wife, she gets me a fucking Black Dahlia t-shirt, long sleeve, for their Deflorate album off of
Mhm.
there. And from that point on, I was just fucking back into it, just like totally like, yeah, balls deep. So yeah, that's literally why I fucking they were the first sponsorship I seeked out with this show.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think like I'm pretty sure like you're like maybe I don't know if I remember correctly, but I know you were talking about it. I think you were like, "Yo, Night Shift, hit me up," something like that.
Yeah, I think that was before. So I started
Yeah.
just throwing their logo on all my shit and all my video transitions. And then and then I invited Kareem to come on so I could interview him, and he was like, "Sure." And then when he came on, he had no idea about my show other than like me posting him on Instagram and tagging him all the time. And then I fucking started the show, and it's like sponsored by Night Shift merch, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've kind of just been doing this unofficially. Can we make it official?" And he was like, "Sure." Like on that episode. So it's funny though, because like my sponsorship, it's not like I get paid by Night Shift merch. I just hit him up every once in a while when I see a shirt I really want. I'm like, "Hey, could I use my sponsorship for that?" And he's like, "Yeah, fucking here's a promo code, get it."
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking funny, man. Yeah,
But yeah, with Cesspit Earth when it came out, I remember I think like the day after or maybe the day of, Mike hit me up from Mike from Barbaric Brutality. He's like, "Yo, Monumental Discharge over 1,000 listeners like right now on Spotify." I'm like, "What? That's crazy." Because normally we sit around like 200, and I remember when one of the singles came out, it jumped up to like 600. I was like, "Oh hell yeah, new people listening, hell yeah, keep it up." And then it's like up to 1,000. I don't really know how like the Spotify monthly listeners works. It's like obviously is like within a day and it jumps up. But if anyone out there is listening to Monumental Discharge, keep it up and keep on sharing it and let us know what you think about it. We're happy to hear any comments.
Yeah, the production on this album is fucking woo, it's phenomenal, dude.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the standard for like slam right now is what I like about it. I would put it up there with like Gorepot, like those other bands that are out there that are really doing the funny samples with the fucking just big chunky riffs,
Mhm.
like
Gorepot's amazing. They're awesome. I can't remember which album it is, but like all the song titles are puns, but maybe or like jokes, but maybe all their song titles are jokes like that. There's this one. It's like this one album. All the jokes are like just really bad dad humor jokes. Like my dad, it's like my grandpa started running a mile every day when he was 21. He's now 70. I have no idea where he is now. Like just stupid some stupid things like that. Also like they're like you know how like the brain rot memes are just like a billion memes within like 30 seconds. Their music is kind of like that. I remember this one album. I showed it to a friend of mine who does like metal, but he doesn't really like the stupid stuff like this. And I was like, bro, just listen to the first 1 minute. Just give it just one whole minute. And then he listened to it. He's like, bro, I feel like I heard like 30 different songs and 30 different like insane things that I don't want in my brain right now. I was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I showed my nephew who's like, he's like in 8th grade and he doesn't listen to like heavy shit. So I just like put that on and he was just like his mind was blown. I was like, yeah, dude, like this shit's sick. I was like, this is called slam. Like it's just like what the fuck? Like I feel like that's where it's very popular.
Yeah, when it comes to the production stuff, we got to shout out Nick from Rusty Sun Audio in Denver. It's a recording studio, and he's the mix master guy. He's done all our work for our first EP, The Split, that we did with Putrid Defecation. Shout out to them. And our full-length Cesspit Earth. And we got plans, probably going to work with him again because we like him. And I'm pretty sure our drummer is friends with them. I've never met him, but I know our drummer's worked with them with like some other bands because he's done like session drums for a bunch of different bands. But yeah, so the next future releases that we have in mind, we have a split. We don't have confirmation from all the bands, but it's potentially a 4-way split. And that will be fun and very sick. And then we have another full length idea that we're working on. But when it comes to like ideas, the guys in the band were always like, "Oh, what if we did this, this, and this?" We're like, "Hell yeah, let's write that down. Let's document that. Let's keep that for an idea." So we're always preparing stuff, planning things, and we like to think conceptually. So lyrically, we like to keep it grouped in together. Cesspit Earth, as cliched is about just the Earth being destroyed by these doo-doo apocalypse monsters from space coming in, destroying everything. And the other ideas that we have that we've been talking about are like prehistoric fecal matter monsters coming back to life and destroying the world. And maybe that could be an homage to the band Ooga Ooga. Have you ever listened to them?
No.
I don't know if it's like one guy or maybe like 2 or 3 guys, but they're from Germany. It's called Ooga Ooga, and they have an album called Ooga Ooga. And all their song titles are just Ooga Ooga or Ooga Ooga Ooga, Ooga Ooga Ooga. So, and it's so stupid. Another way we like to organize our thoughts is compositionally. So we'll think, okay, we need this many songs that are in 4/4, and then maybe a song in 6/8 or 3/4, just change it up a bit. And then I don't know if anyone's noticed, but all our songs so far is only frets open 1, 2, 3, and 4. No 5th fret, no 6th fret. However, Ibrahim, the other string player of the band, he and I were maybe considering a 5th fret here and there, maybe on the future releases.
Yeah. See,
that's progressive.
That's what I was gonna say too, because it's like I was thinking that as I was listening to this one, I'm like, holy fuck, they keep coming up with more fucking riffs, like with that limitation. You talked about it when the shit split came out. You're like, yeah, you were still rolling with that. So I'm happy to know that you still made it happen, because I was like, what the fuck, like that shit's so sick, dude.
Maybe for people that aren't really vibing with the band, maybe they might not like it because it might sound like repetitive or something. Because it's really, you have a limited chunk of notes that you're hearing, just different rhythms, different orders, different variations. So maybe if you don't like it, maybe that's the reason why you might find it like repetitive or boring, which that's understandable. However, that's the solid background for you. You need that. I feel like you need something relatable you're like, you could, okay, I can expect this. It's gonna be a slam here, a blast here. But even on the first album, we have this one riff in 7, but it's so simple. It's just 4-3-2-1-3-2-1, 4-3-1, 4-3-2-1, 3-2-1. So just 4-3-4-3. But yeah, on the next stuff we have, there's some time signature changes. Also, there's some time signature changes in this album, Cesspit Earth. I can't remember which songs, but I think there's like 2 songs. But like, there's simple stuff. It's not like, oh wow, what a in-depth compositional technique they put right there.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's like it's what I like. It's when I listen. It's like when I listen to Obituary. It's like Obituary does that AC/DC type shit where
Yeah.
a lot of the riffs sound like other riffs they've done. And a lot of riffs that they do actually sounds like some WWE shit, like from the '90s too. Like I literally like. There's like a couple songs. I think it's like fuck, what was it? Till Death, I think is the song. It literally, I think it was used by WWE, but I'm not sure. But it literally sounds like when somebody came out. I can't remember who the fuck it was, but when I look it up, I can't find anything about it. So I'm like, dude, like it makes no sense, like it's just, I like those like chunky, slow riffs. Fluids is kind of similar to like the way that, we do the mix ups, like you were talking about the tuba, like Jan hits me up and he's like, yeah, we gotta have a tuba on here, like
Yeah,
tuba's
tuba.
coming next. And those are fun, you always have to have one in there. And then yeah, he'll be like, he'll message me and be like, this next one's a slow chugger, or like this next one's a fast blast. And like, I just having that like and that's funny, your time signatures are like 4/4, because who's that one band, Syphilic,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
And doesn't he
Syphilic.
say this is like not 4/4? Our shit is not 4/4. I don't even know what time signature his shit's in. I can't follow it. It's dope.
When I listen to it, I think of like, when I listen to his music, it sounds like someone who really loves Metallica and death metal, but like it comes out brutal death metal, but like progressive, like thrashing brutal death metal.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe this past year or 2 years ago, I listened to his whole discography from start to finish.
Oh, really?
And yeah, because like when I listen to bands, I have to listen to like, I get into these moods or modes of thinking. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this band first album, every song in order to the last album. I really like it because it sounds like you're hearing the history. I guess it's like kind of like binge watching shows, like series. You just do like years and years of artistry all in like a quick chunk of time. But I like listening to his stuff because I feel like over time it just gets more progressive, not like nerdy progressive, but like he's pushing the boundaries. He's not falling victim to the same formulaic song structures. But yeah, I think progressive, thrashing, brutal death metal, emphasis on death metal, might be my way of describing him to some of my friends.
He's a very talented musician too. Like they say, I don't know if this is true, but it's like I read somewhere online that he wrote all of the riffs for one of his albums while in jail, like
Crazy.
on paper. Like he wrote it down and then came out and recorded it immediately. It's like, what? Like not having an instrument, I wouldn't like. That's fucking insane, dude.
I remember I used to write like tabs on paper in high school.
Yeah.
I'd be like using my forearm and like thinking about shapes. I'm like, all right, I'll do this. I would do my classwork first. Obviously, I'm a teacher. I can't promote not being engaged. But whenever I had the time to do so, which is often, I would just like write tabs, but like create songs, and then I'd like go home and try it out. I'm like, oh, that sucks. That's an interesting idea, and I think the interesting ideas come from like unconventional ways of thinking or composing. Because like if you just stick to the structure, and I know I just talked about like having relatable structures and like what's the word, predictable structures, it's good, for consistency. But also like if you approach it from a different way or an unconventional way, something quite interesting could pop out. And I think that's one of the benefits of working with limitations. It's like, all right, I can only do these things, So how can I address this, or how can I look at this? How can I work with this from a different angle? I feel like maybe Reese, our vocalist, maybe he benefits the most from that, because we just give him song titles. We're like, here, craft something, write something. But the conventional stuff is great. Going back to the tupa that you mentioned, tupa is like one of the best rhythms, because like when you play live and the audience hears the tupa, they know it's party time.
Yeah.
And track 2, which is called Number 2 on our album Cespedes, is just an homage to porno grind, especially Mexican porno grind, and just like polka music in general, because it's just tupa, 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 tupa. And then there's a gravity blast section, but then it goes back to tupa, 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 tupa. But when we played that live, it was a lot of fun. It was also Cinco de Mayo, so shout out the Poblanos. But
Yeah.
that's a good rhythm to dance to.
Yeah. Oh, it's mandatory, dude. Like on
Yeah.
any like on any ignorant shit, you gotta have some. You gotta have the tupa in there at some point.
It's
'Cause
it's the rhythm what I think of when I think of Obscene Extreme Fest.
Yeah.
If I ever have the chance to go there as a fan or as a band, like, oh my god, just in my head it's just tupa tupa tupa, and then you're like, oh my god, you went to the Czech Republic. How was the culture? It's like polka. They're like, yeah, polka's really popular there. I'm like, nah,
That's
brutal.
funny. When I was over in Arizona right after we met J Dog, I was fucking hammered in the back seat of like Jan's car, and we were driving to like some bar, and I brought that up because I was like, hey man, because I'm always just like, can we do a show? When can we do a show? You know, and they, you know, they run the band. I just, you know, doing the vocals and shit, but. You know, I'm always dogging them like, when are we gonna do a show? When are we gonna do a show? Because everybody's always asking too. And I was like telling him, if we get offered Obscene Extreme, will we do it? And he was like, well, we kind of are obscene and extreme. Like that's like the perfect, you know, thing. And I'd be down to go to fucking Europe for that shit.
Yeah,
That would be off the hook. Where's Obscene Extreme held every
in
year?
Czech Republic.
Yeah,
I don't know which part of the country. Maybe just like outside of Prague. I'm not sure.
that's got to be the craziest party like every year. I just
Dude, all the YouTube videos and people just like wearing the most insane, dirty, nasty things, jumping off the stage.
imagine what it smells like there. That's gonna be great. Oh. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Holy fuck. So, can we get an update on what happened to your neighbor?
Yeah, so shout out to my neighbor Hugh. I hope you're doing well. So that was crazy. Hopefully you have the footage still and you could like play it earlier or now so that people can see it. But basically, he's driving, running from the cops, crashes into a bunch of cars, crashes into someone's fence, and then starts crashing and reversing, crashing and again into a tree right in front of my place. And then I look outside. I'm like, yo, fuck. And then I think I hear gunshots or not. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the crashing of the car. And also police cars are ramming into his. Then he runs. He goes into like a little back alley behind our place. And then there's other police on that side. They stop him. And then my friend who lives 2 doors down, he calls me. He's like, bro, what the fuck? I'm like, I don't know, man. I saw it too, man. And like we look outside and he's like, bro, it's Hugh. That's our neighbor. And then we looked outside and there's all the cops with their guns pointing at him. We're like, no, dude. Because our neighbor, like, to give you context, super sweet guy, really, really lovely. All the people that like live in this community who know him, they're like, oh yeah, it's a great guy, he's so lovely. He's like a handyman, works around the community, fixes up things, does a bunch of yard work. And like, if you meet him, you're like, that's a nice ass guy. Like, he's super respectful, really kind, very, very genuine human being. And so we're like, no, dude, we can't watch this. The cops are gonna kill Hugh. Like, if it were someone else, if it were like a total stranger, we might be like, I don't know, I have no relationship to this individual.
You got to record your fluids if it's some rando.
Yeah, but we're like, no, this is a nice guy. He's so kind. And they were like, damn, man. But then like it quieted down. There's no noise. We're like, fuck, what happened? And then I go out front, and this is like when we were still talking. I'm pretty sure when I had the call going, and I see Hugh. He has his arms behind his back, and he like looks over to us, and he says, "I'm sorry." And then we could hear the the silence after. And then he goes, "Stay off them drugs."
Oh,
And we're like, "Farewell, soldier."
yeah.
But and then like the next few days, my friends and I, we were looking at like the reports online. Well, I wasn't, but a friend of mine, she was telling me, I think the charges against him were like obviously resisting arrest, and attempted assault, attempted aggravated assault. Maybe take out the word attempted. I don't know. And I think I heard that he had like a gun with him. So I was just like making up stories in my mind of like maybe he robbed someone or robbed a store and ran away, or I don't know. I don't know what had happened exactly. All I know is he got locked up.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. He based on what I knew of him, seemed like a good guy. And then also like yeah, before I saw that it was him, I was so fucking worried because like my girl was downstairs. I'm like, oh fuck, man, I gotta go kick some ass and save the day, protect her. And then I was like, wait, it's you? We're good. No problem. He can run into our tree if we want. Like that's how nice of a guy is. Like as soon as I saw it was him, I was like, oh no, yeah, all right, cool, no problem.
Yeah. That sucks, man. Yeah, I mean, shit, it could happen to anybody, man. You never know. It's like, it sucks that fucking being on a sick one. I was watching a video earlier today of a guy. All of his friends gave him salvia, and he just completely disassociates as soon as he does it, and instead of like calming him down, they start yelling at him, chill out, man. And he just starts like swinging, because he doesn't even know who he is anymore. They killed the guy's ego. Like, you shouldn't do that.
Crazy. Imagine Miley Cyrus, that one video when she's smoking, she just starts beating up everyone.
Yeah.
I remember I was with some friends. I don't take drugs, and I don't recommend people take them, except like you should drink water. That's what I recommend. But I was with some friends, and they were participating in some consumption of DMT, and I was playing guitar. I was playing like some ambient post rock type stuff, and they were just like so relaxed. They were just, one of them was literally moaning. He's like, "Oh my god." The other one was just like, "Hell yeah, brother." And then I was already connected to a distortion pedal, but I didn't have it turned on, but like it was plugged in, and I was like, all right, click, and then I go gun 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 gun, just like playing like brutal death metal. And the one who was moaning was like, he went from to no. he whined the word no, and then the other one who said hell yeah, brother was like, man, what the fuck? And they were both lying down with their eyes closed, and then I turned it off and went back to like the clean ambient stuff. And then they both sighed with huge sigh of relief, like
hella relief.
Oh yeah. And it was crazy because it only lasted like 4 minutes, and then then after that it felt like they're like, yep, all right, back to normal reality. And there's nothing in my brain going on right now. I was like, "Do you guys like? Do you remember anything? What I did with the music?" They're like, "Yeah, that fucking sucked. Don't do that fucking brutal shit. That awful." But like that right there, that little story makes me think of like how we relate to music, how it helps us like, or I guess how it makes us respond to it. For example, like you listen to like some soundscape type music, probably gonna get tired and sleepy. It's gonna help you relax. Interestingly, if I listen to like brutal stuff, I feel really relaxed. But then again, it's like it's something I'm used to, something I listen to all the time. I'm thinking of like Dying Fetus, Reign Supreme, that album. The production's amazing, the riffs are sick, everything's sick on it. When I hear it, I'm just like, oh, so sweet, so calm, so gentle. It's a really amazing, cute little album. I'm sure most people are like, this is awful. Did you hear that audio clip what that woman said? Oh my god, it's so terrible. But like, yeah, it's terrible, but like, it's good.
Yeah, that's how I feel with like Dismember. It's like for some people like are like, oh, this is like a mess. I can't even make out what I'm listening to, and I'm like, dude, this is like intro like level stuff. Like, and it's good. It's like super discernible from part to part for me, and I'm just like mellowed out when I listen to it. And what I hate What I hate is when I listen to death metal that doesn't flow well together, you know, and I get people are into that kind of stuff, you know, but
Mhm.
like, yeah, I can't think of like a specific. Oh, Afterbirth, like that
Okay,
new
yeah.
Afterbirth release. I was listening to that whole thing, and I'm like, every time I start catching the vibe with it, it just switches up and goes somewhere else, and I'm just like, dude, I don't even know what the heck's going on anymore at this point.
I feel you. I really like Afterbirth, especially their new stuff. That's another band that I listened to from first to last again just recently, and the progression is so good. I love it. They get better and better. Production's better. Um, I also, when I think of them, I also think of Malignancy. And Malignancy's, I don't know if their newest album just came out, but I know I just recently listened to a new single. And I guess maybe I feel more the way that you just described Afterbirth, how you feel towards them. I feel a little bit more like that towards Malignancy, even though I like it because it's like, it's definitely technical, it's definitely progressive. The flow, it's not as like of a simplistic flow that I might want. But I think Afterbirth is really dope. But I know what you mean with that choppy kind of feel. And when you were describing that, that made me think of Death, obviously the classic band Death.
Yeah.
I've heard some people describe their opinions on the band in like in a negative way because of like they're like, oh, they suck. They just like have a riff, they stop, and then another riff comes in and stop, another riff. I'm like, hell yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
cool. I like
Well,
it.
it flows. Some bands can make it flow well too. Like, but like, you know what I don't like though too in death metal is like it like the new Immolation. Like you listen to old Immolation and it's like that. Like it's riff, different riff, and it all flows. And the new Immolation, it's just like I don't want to have to give it that second listen to get more familiar with it because that's the other thing too. A lot of times when I listen to and I feel like my ear picks up on shit a lot more now that that's you know the majority of what I listen to, like where I can get something on the first listen and it clicks with me like
Mhm.
instantly. Before like it's weird when I first heard Undeath, their full length. I listened to the thing like fucking 10 times before it actually clicked with me. And then I was like, oh shit. Suffocation. The first time I tried to listen to that band, I was like, these guys are trying way too fucking hard. Like I can't get with it. And then then I kind of like got it and got familiar with the riffs and I'm like, "Oh, this shit's really badass." Like I was stupid, you know? But then with the new Immolation, man, I don't know if you've heard it, but it's too long to me and I just
Acts of God, that album, Acts of God.
yeah, I don't even know what they're doing anymore.
I kind of feel like the opposite, like with their early stuff, because like I was talking with my friend Cameron. He's a guitarist in another band that I'm in, Bell Tower. It's like a black metal band, and we were talking about Immolation because we both like Immolation, and we were like describing like these riffs, like early Immolation riffs. The way that we talk about them is like it sounds like someone who writes a riff because it sounds cool, but doesn't really know like what's going on in the riff. It's like technically, if you break it down, you're like, all right, this first chunk's in 11/8, then it goes to 4/4, then it goes to 10/8, and then it goes back to 4/4, and then it's in 12/8. It's like obviously that I'm just making up that as an example. I don't think they actually have any riffs like that, but it feels like that. It feels like they just do the parts because it sounds cool. And I think that's a great thing that a lot of bands should do more of. I think people should do that. Like write a riff because it sounds cool. Um, I don't necessarily do that. I like pick a time signature. I pick a tempo. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna do something within these boundaries. But I would like for more and more bands to just write something because it sounds cool. Don't worry about like, does it flow? Is it diatonic? Is it blah blah blah? And that's what I do with my students in my music class. Like, I say, if you write a song that's like fits this structure and it's like typically within these ranges of tempos or tempi. If you do these things, the normal audience is going to be like, okay, this is understandable. I get it. I enjoy it. I can like it. And if you do something that you want to do just because you want to do, instantly you're much likely to have fewer people actually interested and enjoy your stuff. But it's a lot of fun. So have at it, make stuff. So that's how some of my music classes are in the schools. Like I want you to do this thing. So like follow all these rules, these guidelines, But remember, you can do anything you want. However, if you do anything you want, some people might be like, oh, that's out of key. I don't like that note. Or that's a weird chord progression. Or why are the drums doing this instead of this? I want them to do a tupa, tupa, tupa because I understand it. Why is it just all these things? So I would like more early immolation riffs, the wacky fucking crazy boys.
Yeah, yeah. Like I saw them live, and it was 30 minutes of. I mean, their presentation was great. They were one of the most evil bands that I've seen live. But yeah. Fucking doing all that shit, looking like the Chuck E. Cheese from hell, like robot figures and shit. But the thing is, it's like it was 30 minutes of everything sounding the same. They played all new shit, and I was just like, okay, like I can make out the drums, right now. Like
Mhm.
it was difficult. It was a shitty venue. I'll give them that too. But the funny thing is, Obituary came on right after, and they sounded fucking better. They sounded better live there than they sound on record. So I was like, I don't know. Maybe it isn't the venue, because every other band I've seen there kind of sounds crappy at this one
True.
venue in Berkeley. It's a theater made for like plays and shit. So it's definitely
Yeah.
not for shouldn't be a music venue.
Thinking about that makes, because like, all right, thinking about venues and how they're designed for certain styles of music. I remember I was watching this video of like some opera hall or some like classical music type venue in Europe, and they're like, this is made so like wherever you're sitting, it's going to be like a similar sound, and it's like peak sound. Everyone's wherever you're sitting, it's going to be excellent sound for you. And so like me thinking about that, that's like so cool. All the architects and the acousticians, I think they're called. I don't know how to say that word. Acousticians, the people that do the acoustics. Um, they're like putting in so much time and energy and effort to make sure that like this place sounds good for a certain type of music. That makes me think, what are the upcoming engineer students? What if they were to do a building designed specifically for like no mids, just fucking gravity blasts, brutal death metal? Like what would that what's the ideal venue for that other than like someone's backyard or like a shitty bar? Like what would the place be like to actually make it sound even better? So like that'd be a cool thing. Like if I were in charge of like a architecture class, which good thing I'm not, because I have zero clue about it. But like I'd be like, all right, students, make a venue designed for this genre or that genre, and see what that would be like. Because I'm sure like some of like I'm assuming the popular modern venues are made for like maybe pop music or rap music or something like that. And in my head, I have this like little statistic. I don't know, or a little data piece. I don't know if it's true, but I think I heard like the lowest note you can hear in like a specific venue before it sounds like bad is like a G, maybe like a G0 or something.
Yeah.
And then anything below that is just like it's not good. So brutal death metal bands have to tune to G standard, and make and play in venues designed for them. That's what the future I want.
Yep. Yeah. Well, fuck it. I feel like that's what Fluids plays in. I think it's G standard. So I think we're set.
I got a G standard boy over there. All my instruments. I'm in my studio right now. All my instruments have different tunings. They're all for different projects, different bands and things. I have a G standard 7-string though. And speaking of G standard, and to shout out a band, Glacial Tomb.
Yeah.
They play in G standard on 7 strings. They're dope. They just released a new single maybe like a few months ago, and they're dope.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Glacial Tomb goes hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fucked up with them. There's so much music that's like on the way right now too that I'm pumped about. Like that new Black Dahlia comes out this week. I don't know if it's a new album, but it's like a new single. So I want to see what they sound like now.
I'm assuming it's gonna be amazing. I'm assuming it's gonna be techy melodic American death metal. I'm a big fan of the Black Dahlia Murder. I know that like a lot of my fellow elitists, we don't like the metalcore and stuff.
It's not metalcore though.
I
That's
know,
what I
that's,
tell everybody about
that's
that
what I'm
band.
saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely not metalcore.
It came out at the same time, and it kind of has the aesthetic, and it has a name that sounds like a metalcore band, and that's the
Exactly.
problem. They got lumped into it, but they are as metalcore as Dismember. I want to say Dismember maybe has more metalcore-y, 0, 8, 7, like
Yeah.
kind of like riffs, and then like what's another band? They're like what's it called, dude? I don't know why everything's escaping me. I've been barbecuing all weekend. What's that damn band, dude? It literally, people are gonna call me a poser for not knowing this band name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't think of it right now. But they're the band that had the really dope like first album. Second album was okay.
Cryptopsy.
No, don't say that. Cryptopsy's still cool. They're okay.
No, I mean their newest album, the drums are sick. The drums have always been cool.
They turned into like almost a hardcore kind of band after time. I feel like they went from brutal death to like the vocals just really changed. When they lost Worm, it really just changed everything to me.
Yeah.
But no, the band that almost turned into like death and roll.
A Swedish band?
Yeah, I think so.
Entombed?
Yes,
Yeah,
Entombed. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of Entombed right now. No, yeah, I forgot why I brought that up, dude. I'm so cooked. I'm so cooked. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, Entombed is like I want to say they're closer to Entombed than any like Black Dahlia. They're closer to Entombed than any other like kind of like metalcore stuff. So yeah, I hate that people lump them up. Uncle Ken, I love him with all my heart. I sent him a bunch of CDs just to see what he would say, because he said they're not really my thing. He said that, and I'm like, dude, like, have you listened to him? He's like, I listened to them when they came out. They're not really my type of music. And so I sent him Defler It, because I was like, that's as death metal as it gets, like my personal copy. I sent it to him. He didn't even comment on it. And I'm like, he probably got it and said, not happening, Maybizzle,
I think, all right, so why they're lumped into metalcore, as you said perfectly, the era, the name, the aesthetic, the fact that they're not serious. But then again, a lot of us gore people, we're not serious. But like there was at least one song where it's like a chug, 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 maybe Funeral Thirst, maybe there's like, but it's not like it's like an intro riff, I think. I can't remember. And on the demo stuff, maybe it's like a little bit more metalcore-y.
Well, they sang on like 2 or 3 songs too on the demo.
Exactly, and then, but we don't talk about that. So
yeah. I know. I listened to it again after like not hearing it since I first heard of them when I was a kid, and then I was like, oh, this is why people really hate them. I forgot about that.
So Deathler, it's an amazing album. I'm blanking on the Stukov, the engineer of the album, the mix. Sukoff, Jason Sukoff. I'm pretty sure he did a guest guitar solo on "I Will Return," the last track, and that dude's amazing. Everything he works on it sounds amazing. And I think he has a brother who's also really good at music, or maybe I'm just making up stuff. But Jason Sukoff is super sick. That album, Deathler, is really sick. That's one of the times I saw the Black Dollar Murder is for that album tour, and it was with Obscura, Augury, also from Canada, and there's another band, Black Dahlia Murder, Obscura, Augury, maybe another one, but I can't remember. That was super sick. And I went with a friend of mine who's like a huge Black Dahlia Murder fan, and he's also a huge fan of marijuana. And before the show, he met his 2 heroes, Brian and Trevor from the band, and then he also did his favorite activity with them. He smoked weed with them, and he's like, bro, I'm in a band, like, and they're like, hell yeah, give us a CD. He's like, all right, I have here you go. And then Ryan, I think Ryan's the former bass player. I think his name's Ryan.
Ryan Knight.
No, that's the guitarist.
Oh yeah, you're talking about their old bass player.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now. But like he put the CD on his amp, and so like I remember my friend, he was like, dude, that's our CD on his amp. And I'm sure they listened to it, they're like, yeah, this sucks. But it was just cool that my friend got to do that thing with the people that he loved.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It sucks because I talked to Trevor online and shit, and then I never got to meet him in person. Like I saw him live one time. They used to play at this venue in San Francisco called Slim's every single year, and I was just completely defeated because I would miss it. I was a kid. I had no way to get to the city myself. Like I couldn't figure it out. And then because I live outside of the city, like a ways out, and I miss them every single time. And then finally, fucking, I see them like the year before Trevor passes away. I'm talking to him. I got the night shift sponsorship, so I'm like legit. I was like, yo, dude, let's have this fucking conversation. Like, I feel like I was building this show up to have him on, like, because every time he would be doing interviews in his last couple of years, he seemed so unentertained because everybody would ask him the same shit over and over again. And then he was like, I would be in the comments though, and I would comment like a question, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, hella quick to answer my question, get excited and shit." So I was like, "Dude, it's gonna be killer when I get him on." And then didn't fucking happen.
It was too killer.
I was so mad. I remember like Dirt Riffs hit me up, and he was like, "What did he say?" He was like, "Hey, look at Black Dahlia's Facebook page." I'm like, "New album or new music?" That's all I thought. And I looked, and I was off of work for the day, and I saw that news, and I was just like, well, I'm day drinking. Like, this sucks. I was so depressed, dude. And then two things happened that day too. So I went to Target, and my wife was pregnant. She was like, I want to say 8 months pregnant, like hella showing. And we were walking out of Target and trying to figure out how to put our baby seat in the car. So I'm like in there trying to like put this thing in, and this old man walks very creepily close to us. Like, she's standing there. Like, we don't live in like the best place, or the Target's not in the best area, right? So, I always tell her like whenever we're doing stuff, because she never pays attention around her, or she's not aware of her surroundings a lot of the time. She's better now at it after I got on her case about it a lot, but she would just be like clueless when there are weirdos walking around. And so I'd always be like, get in the car, get in the car. And she's like, no, I'm fine. I'm not getting in the car. So this old man walks behind us like super close, brushes against the side of my car. And I had a brand new car I just got, because I had the kid on the way. I like snap everything in. I like get over and I look, and he's already gone. He gets in his car and he takes off. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Maybe he's just stupid old man or something. So I go and I snap the thing in and close the back seat, and I'm like, I'm gonna drive. So she gets in the passenger seat, and I'm walking over, and there's a dollar bill on the ground. And I was like, oh, sick, like right by my rear tire on the driver's side. So I go down there and I pick up the dollar, and there's a pink paper clip on the dollar. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And I unfold it, and it was a picture of his dick.
Oh my god! I thought this was gonna be like, it was like a note saying like, "Hey, happy, you're about to be a father. Enjoy."
Dude, I was so mad. I was so mad. I had like, because he was gone, so I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, realistically, what I should have done was just laughed and took off. But I like stormed into Target, and I looked like a crazy person. Well, I didn't. I threw the picture, and I was like, I need to see the cameras. I need to see the camera. And like I said, I'm at a Target in a bad area, so security is looking at me like I'm crazy. And one like of the people working there, like not security, just one of the random people, she's like, "How's your day going?" I was like, "Some guy just dropped a dollar with the picture of his dick and he wanted my pregnant wife to pick it up." Like, it just sounded weird, the way I yelled it. And I'm just like freaking out, and then she goes over to security, and she's like, "Do you hear what he's saying?" And security's looking at me like I'm some crackhead that needs to get beat up, And he's like, "Don't listen to him." And he looks at me and he's like, "You get out of the store." And then I started yelling, "You don't care if someone shows their dick to me in your store." I like started yelling, and he was like, starting to like pick up his walkie-talkie, and I'm just like, "All right, fucking, what can I do? what can I do? So I took off and I drove
You
home.
have. I'm assuming you don't, but if you have that picture of the dick, we can make an album with it.
That's what everyone was telling me after. Everybody laughed. I jumped in like it was Wednesday. It was Warflurch Wednesday was when this whole thing happened. And because Trevor passed away that day. I'm pretty sure. But I went in Warflurch Wednesday and I like started like talking about it, like on there, and then everybody just laughed at me and they were like, dude, like you should just laughed or whatever. And I'm like, nah, that's my pregnant what, because I feel like maybe I had like hormones going through me, because when my wife was about to have the baby, I was ready to kick anybody's ass at any given time in public, just because.
Yeah, the natural, maybe it's like some biological thing. It's like dad must protect.
Yeah, I think so. And then it's crazy though, because I did definitely go through some psychosis after the baby was born, because we were up for days, like in the hospital. And I got home and it was so funny because my mom held my baby and she was like, what did she say? She was like, "Ooh, my baby's here." And I don't know why I took that the wrong way. It's my mom, dude, like it is her baby too, it's her grandbaby. But I'm like, I go up in the room and I had been awake for 3 days and I'm out of my mind. And I'm thinking someone's going to come to take my baby. And I'm like, she better not take my baby. And I like locked the fucking door at night as we're all going to sleep. I was so out of it. And I'm like, with kid number 2, I'm going to be just mellow and not give a shit. And, I got another one coming this year. So I just got to like, not go crazy again this time and make sure I get sleep, man. Like, oh my god. Yeah, never again. Never ever again. That was insane. I literally was like, I look back. But enough about psychosis. What if there was like a poop induced psychosis?
A poop that goes back in, like you're trying to let it out, but it just, you ever have that feeling? You're trying to push it out and then like it goes back in, you're like, fuck.
Oh, dude, so I had a headache. I told you I had heat exhaustion, right?
Yeah.
Earlier this week. So I had this throbbing fucking headache, because heat exhaustion, they say it's from your brain expanding, because it's basically getting cooked, your head's temperature rises and then your brain expands, and then it like the pressure just gives you a headache. You get like all the other symptoms that come along with it. And you can't just jump in a cold shower because it'll put your body in shock if you try to cool down too fast. So I'm out in 104-degree weather, going up in attics. It's 140, and I was fucked up this week. I was like, why do I feel so off? And then I go and I look in the like bathroom on Friday when I get home, and my face is beet red, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm sunburnt as shit. It's heat exhaustion. This is why I feel off. And I had to take a shit. So I sit on the toilet and I'm trying to go, and every time, for some reason, dude, I drank like 2 to 4 liters of water every day this week, and I wasn't balancing it with electrolytes though. So I was just pissing everything out and pissing out all my electrolytes. I was barely sweating this week, which was weird too, and it was so hot. But I'm on this toilet and my poops are now solid and hard, So as I was trying to push the poop, I felt like a bubble in my head just getting bigger, and the pressure and the pain. And then every time I would stop pushing, it would like relieve itself. But like I couldn't push hard enough. I felt like whatever was gonna pop that poop out was gonna pop something in my head at the same time.
Maybe that's the poop psychosis monster thing. Like if you try to let it out, but it comes back in, and then all the expression or the expulsion of air is like going through your brain, and it pops like certain areas of the brain, maybe like hits something that just makes you super aggressive and violent, and you're ready to kill. So I'll share that with Reese, the vocalist, have him pen some poetry up to that.
What if like there's like some disease in that can like get put in people's like brains, like it gets injected, and it turns all of your synaptic connections into fecal connections? Like it's like you look at like the synapses and just feces just starts like spreading you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like one of those like in the movie where it like zooms in like Ant-Man or some shit, and you just see like the spreading all the connections, a tree of feces.
That makes me think if the arteries and veins were filled with just liquid shit, and like let's say it's like that's like a shit zombie, like their blood turns to shit, and and like their intestines become like the central powerhouse of the body that runs the body, and shit, it just runs through the veins and arteries. Then if they get like their arm cut off or something by some human trying to survive, and there's just shit sprays everywhere, and it paints the human, and then they get infected. But that makes me think of Zombie Ass, Toilet of the Dead. Have you seen that?
No, that's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's amazing. You got to watch it. At least just the trailer alone is worth watching. The trailer, you can watch it on YouTube. Zombie Ass, Toilet of the Dead. But the full movie's good too. It also like talks on like beauty standards that women unfairly have to address, and they don't have to, but like they do. Society forces it upon them.
My boy.
It's a good movie.
I like that. My boy did he was so big talking about that kind of shit. When we were in college, he was like, he fucking did this whole thing where he had a chick, like it was for a music video intro, and it's a chick like doing her makeup hella, like spending hella time, like getting all done up, and then all of a sudden it pans, like it like shows her after the transformation, and it's just him, and he's just like this dude with dreads and shit, just like in the thing. And he was like, I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, cause fuck all that shit, man. He was like, they don't have to do all of that shit. That's not right. That's fucking terrible. You make people do that. Like, he was like, they do all that shit, and like, you know, they're still just a person. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Women power.
Yeah. I like, you know, that's crazy, man. I feel like I'm very feel like I'm very progressive, you know.
You better be.
I know we weren't going to talk politics, but I kind of want to talk a little politics.
Let's do it. I mean, like we have to, because we are the voice. We're some of the voices. It's important to talk.
This is a crazy year. I mean, we're coming up on an election. There's so much crazy stuff going on in the news. But what I'm wondering is like what the angle is going to be for the media, you know, that they're going to be doing this year. Because it's like, you've seen everything that has happened over the last 4 years, and it's like, what are you guys going to do? You know what I mean? I feel like there are too many people that are complacent too. Like, I mean, we're never going to see like real change, but it's like, you know, like what, like we're never going to, I feel like we're never going to see the real change that we need to see as humanity. Like nothing's ever really going to benefit people. Every decision that is being made now is all based on short-term gains for like super rich people and shit. And you have like I could talk about Elon Musk like as a perfect example. It's like 5 years ago. I read this post earlier today that someone said that I really resonated with. And they said 5 years ago he was like a liberal darling, and everybody loved him because he was trying to create these cars that were going to fucking, you know, like reduce emissions and make the world a better place. And then now he's fucking, you know, seems like this crazy rich, you know, drugged out dude that's like super conservative and just super right wing and fucking just trying to get rich as shit, you know. And then like Joe Rogan, like that's another guy where I was like, oh, he's hella cool. He's kind of a meathead, but he's hella cool. And then now he's just constantly pandering. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like straight up like fuck. Some of my viewers are probably gonna be like, the fuck are you talking about on here? I just realized this. I never talked about this. I talk about it on 3 Daddy though. I get into it all the time over there. But like something that's funny is like Trump said if he loses, it's gonna be a bloodbath. And then Joe Rogan fucking is like, he's saying it metaphorically. He doesn't really mean it. And they play the clip in front of him and the dude that's on his show. And he doesn't have that guy on the show anymore after he did that. He's like, nah, dude, like he just literally said that shit. Like he's calling people to action, like all his like dog whistle shit that he does. And it's like, how does this dude still even have a platform when it's like the same people that keep coming out? It's so, we live in such a weird fucking time, dude. Like you have like, I feel like the people on TED Talk are like given better fucking like advice and like why don't we see like smart people going into politics? But maybe that's probably
The answer is similar to the music that we were talking about earlier. Like smart stuff, smart people require attention and like an audience that understands. So that's already you drop off a huge percentage right there. You need to understand a smart person. So not everyone's going to be able to do that. And then smart people, they just talk too much. They say the most precise thing, which once again, people are like, "Oh, my attention's gone up. I need to listen to something else." But like, what sells is the stupid shit, similar to gore grind. Like, give me a tupa tupa.
yeah.
Put some nonsensical thing, but give me an image. I don't want to read. Just show me the picture. Okay, I get it. So simplicity. I feel like that's kind of how the politics is. Like the meme core gurgle grind gore stuff is what wins. It gets everyone's attention. But like it's like okay, but we have this like technical, progressive, avant-garde, experimental thing. People are like, huh? How many? That's a lot of words. Like too many syllables. I can't do it. I make that joke because I feel like it's an accurate attempt to a response to that question. Like, why don't we have more smart people? For example, like I'll be talking with my friends and we're all teachers, and we might have like a deep conversation, and I'll share my take. And then one of my friends, she's also a teacher, but she's like, all right, let me put this into ChatGPT to dumb it down to 6th grade level. She's like, I don't understand your language. You're doing a doctorate in education. You're too fancy for me. So like, I guess that brings it up. That's a good answer. Like the intellectuals, we try to say things in the most precise way to make sure that we're sharing accurate information and to make sure that we're not gonna be misinterpreted. But like, just simplify it. Like, say stupid stuff. That's gonna get people's attention. I feel like that's one of the reasons why certain politicians are getting recognized and winning spots, because they say something contentious but in a simple way, in an appealing way, and they'll get support like that.
Damn, that's crazy too. Because I saw this post earlier today of some people in like Alaska, and hella people are like their facial like expressions just don't look fucking like normal. Like they don't look like they know how to communicate with other people. And someone down below was like, this is like the majority of America. Like you just don't see it because you might live like in a major city or like a metropolitan area or like a more developed area. But like if you drive across the US, you will see people like this everywhere. And it's just it's just a education problem. It's a fucking it's a societal problem that we have, and it's almost like it's kind of designed that way. You know?
Yeah, another reason why I feel like we don't have the smarts in power is because we don't value education as other countries do. Teachers are paid relatively low compared to other jobs, and that's a very clear symbolism of saying, okay, you don't get paid that much because you're not that important. And for a long time, all around the world, but especially in the U.S., teaching has been seen as like a woman's job. And they're like, oh, you're a woman, you do all the teaching stuff. Yeah, just teach the basic arithmetic, reading, writing, math stuff. You got it. All the men, we're going to do the real jobs, the important jobs, the business, the consumer stuff, the power stuff, the government stuff. So it's been belittled for a long time. But if you compare it to other countries where, or not just countries, but to avoid the nation state idea, but it's like other communities and cultures, you see the elderly as respectful, because you should respect the elderly because they're wise. For example, in a lot of Mesoamerican cultures, if the older person is talking, you're listening, you respect them because they've lived it. They have that experience. They have that wisdom. Other cultures, for example, like Finland, everyone's talking about their education system, so amazing. Like you have to be extremely well educated before you can become a teacher. But to compare that to the U.S., Texas, one of the most populated states, one of the easiest ways, or one of the most common ways that teachers get their licenses in Texas is through an online program. It's like you just sign up, take the test, get the license. And it's easy because we need teachers, so we have to make systems that make that profession available to people. But it continues the cycle of devaluing education and therefore devaluing intellectualism. And I feel like these are some of the reasons why we don't have the big intellectuals in these positions of power, because we don't respect them. It's like, I don't want to listen to that guy saying all those syllables. I want to listen to someone who says like, yeah, we're going to fucking have big dicks and everyone's going to like it.
Yeah,
So people,
that's what we gotta do. Yeah, man. Shit, I get it. It's like idiocracy. It's like Carl Sagan talks about it in I don't know if I brought this book up in a conversation with you because I bring it up so frequently, but The Demon Haunted World by Carl Sagan is like one of my favorite books because he talks about all this shit that's happening right now in society. Like in the 90s, I think he wrote this book, and he says that as communication and media gets more and more like short form, like he basically predicted reels and TikTok like way before. He said the clips are going to get shorter and they're going to just be trying to get serotonin from people, and fucking what's going to happen is their attention spans are going to become so short that they're going to be clinging to their crystals and fucking I forgot what he said, but basically denying science. All it's going to take is some time. People are going to become less educated the more information they have available, and they're not going to be able to discern what they believe in. And then
the sad irony of having so much easy access to information, and also so much willpower to just throw it away.
My boy said, "You have right here, you have everything in your pocket. Everybody has the answer to everything in their pocket if they really know how to look for it, but they just go with it instead, and make funny faces and take pictures."
Yeah, which is good too. You got to relax and not. I mean, like if you realize reality for what it is, it's very depressing and it sucks. Life sucks, and then you die. But so like you gotta take breaks and do stupid stuff. And once again, I go back to like I was thinking about the gore grind, because you're thinking about like, all right, it's gonna be shorter, less attention needed. Gore grind songs. Give me a 40-second blasting song. Give me a 5-second song. Give me a you're right.
Yep.
Something really short because it's haha funny, but also quick serotonin release. But also like it's fun to take a break from the seriousness. I feel like it's needed too, but I feel like the problem that you're bringing up is it's a problem when like that break from reality becomes the only thing you want. So I have a friend. He did like a whole month. He's like, I'm just not going to use anything that like gives me instant serotonin. So like, I'm not going to listen to music. I'm not going to watch movies. I'm not going to use my phone. I'm just going to wake up with my alarm clock, go to work, come home, and then see what happens. And he like started painting, and he started like exercising. He's like doing all these things like to target areas within his physical self, his like his emotional self. And he said it was like really great for him. But obviously went back to the phone next month, and maybe some habits stuck that he had developed, but other ones just immediately went away and just.
Yeah.
And I feel fortunate because like growing up, I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a smartphone until I graduated university, and finally when I got one, I was like, holy shit, this is so sick. Like there's the internet like on this thing. This is awesome. I can't believe I didn't have this as everyone else had it. This is so cool. And recently I've been like a victim of just like watching too many Instagram reels, and like there's times when I'm just like, oh, I throw my phone down, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, like I like mentally I'm overstimulated. I can't take it physically, and I'll like take a breath, go away from my phone, come back, and then I'm like,
Yep.
stupid.
It drains you too. Like you don't realize it. Yeah, I used to do that shit all the time, and I still catch myself too. And I'm like, dude, like, fuck, because there's so much stuff I want to get done.
Yeah.
Like I have work, like serious work to get done. That's fun to me though, like this kind of stuff. And then it's hard.
I can't remember who said it, but it was I think it was on like in some interviews. Someone said what they do is before they open an app on their phone, they ask and answer one question: what am I opening this app for? is it to open to get lost in reels? Because like maybe like sometimes you do that. Like if you're aware of doing that and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna get lost in reels for a couple of minutes, see all this stupid stuff happens. Or you'd be like, I'm purposely gonna open this app because I want to send a message to my friend that I haven't talked to and say, hey, hope you're doing well. Just saying hi. Or it's like, I'm going to open this app because I'm looking for a particular song, or I want to find a new song, something like that. And I don't do that habit. I don't practice that, but I like it. And I feel like I would like to encourage myself to do that type of those types of behaviors with my phone before I just get lost in social media.
Yeah, it's like being conscientious about your intent, and it might be a way to make things more productive. Like for problem solving, I use my phone too much, and I had a English teacher who told me that she said anytime you have a problem that you think you need to use your phone for, give yourself 5 minutes before trying to find a solution there, because if
That's
you
good.
do that, it's going to prevent your brain from giving up on things easily, because that's what you're doing, is you're giving up.
Building perseverance. Yeah, when I teach poetry in my Spanish classes, a lot of times initially students are like, oh, poetry sucks. I'm like, you guys love poetry, and they're like, no, we don't. Like, do you listen to music? They're like, yeah. I'm like, do you like music? They're like, yeah. I'm like, do you like music with words? They're like, yeah. I'm like, that's fucking poetry, man. But I'm like, all right, so we're gonna do the things that you hate about poetry, analyzing it, because you have to use your brain. And I tell them the first thing, all right, like if you read a poem, read it first, only to read it. Don't ask a single question. Don't analyze it at all. They're like, huh? And then read it a second time. And then when you read it, answer the most basic questions. Answer the questions like, what is the author saying? Like, literally, what is they saying? If the author says the apple's red, and you ask yourself, what are they saying? Oh, the author said the apple's red. Beautiful. Then the third time you read it, reread it a third time, and then ask yourself, what could this mean? How do you think the author could mean it, or what do you get from this? The apple is red. Okay, is it red because later on in the poem he says something about blood, something as simple as that, or does he like what else could it mean? So like when it comes to using your brain before looking at answers, I feel like all of us are so strong and capable of analytically thinking if we give ourselves the option and ability to do so. So when you're reading Monumental Discharge's lyrics and you're like, what does this mean? Fecal and what is a cesspit earth? So before you Google things like, what does this word mean? Think about the context clues and read it and ask yourself, what is he literally saying? What does Reese literally say here? And then third time you're reading it, then come up with your own interpretation. And I wanted to share something like kind of about interpreting lyrics or noises earlier, because you mentioned torso fuck. And I can't remember where. It was like some YouTube video, and people were commenting on, it was like a torso fuck, the album with the two ladies doing things, that album cover. People were commenting like, such beautiful lyrics. This song is about a blank, and then it's a whole elaborate story what the song is not about, because I don't even know if they say words. But what I love is like the comments they're all jokes, but they're like jokes, and they're like coming up, they're like making up their own essay on what this song's about, but it's all like impromptu comedy, just nonsensical things. Like, oh, this song is about like, I went on a safari once and I saw this beautiful elephant, and
I read that comment.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I've seen other ones like this. Oh yes, this reminds me of this historic event. It's invigorating, really, because there were these women and they were hard pressed by society, and they decided to group together and organize, and they changed the world for the better. It's like, what? Just stupid things like that.
Yeah, but too, the other thing is like being able to like interpret things. Interpreting art can go so many different ways, but like there's also like I think something important to like when you are teaching people about analytical thinking and discovering their own interpretation of things, is to like, all right, but understand you might not always be right, because like
Yeah.
you've seen that Room 237 documentary about The Shining.
No.
Dude, so I think it's on Amazon, it is, if you're into horror, so it's like this documentary that shows like groups of different people that interpreted that movie completely different, but they are like, this is it, like this is what this movie is all about. Like there's this one guy that like they all have like organized movements, you know, based on like this type of stuff. Like one guy's like, oh, this is all about the Native Americans, like this entire movie is about the Native Americans, and it's all in the symbolism. Look, the guy with the tear, you know, it has like the Native American on the can, you know, that is in the background, and it's like everything that's happening here is a metaphor. And then like there's numbers, you know, like there's one person that's super into numerology, and they're like, no, this is what it's about. And it's like all these people are kind of like going off the deep end over this Kubrick movie, and what they all say is like, he really intended this though, because he didn't have to have this in this scene, you know, like. And it's just like, dude, like I don't know, because like they say like people that get like people that are experiencing like psychosis too, like they could be listening to songs and then think that they're like singing to them, or they're songs that are about them. Like the guy that like shot John Lennon, I think he said he had tiny little people living in his head though, and then they told him to like go. So that's, yeah, I think,
Tiny
I
little
don't,
SpongeBob's.
yeah.
That's how the brain works, by the way, if you didn't know.
Yeah, it's, well, we're always trying to find connections. Like when we look at like what do they say? Like, you know how like people see faces and stuff? Like and apparently like our brains are wired to do that. Like we're wired to like try to hear, if you listen to running water and your brain is very tired, there's a high likelihood of you hearing like voices, like not specific like voices talking, but it almost sounds like people talking. It's
That's
like a
the
white
allure
noise
of
thing.
listening to Gurgle Grind.
Yeah.
I released this one album for another band I'm in. It's called Cacaorcas. It's all about the cacao industry, but it's a pun on carcass. Cacaorcas.
Yeah.
And this one album's called Mental Hygiene, and it's just drums and then water. That's the only instruments. It's just
Oh my
deep beat
God.
away. And then I have a water bottle. I put water in it, and then I put it in my mouth and went, I gargled. And then I did some like distortion and stuff, some post processing. But I'll show it to my friends. They're like, most of my friends, my like metalhead friends, are like, this is fucking stupid. Then my non-metalhead friends are like, I'm anxious, like, what is happening? Turn it off. Maybe they're hearing all the voices with the water there. That's
Yep.
just beyond comprehension.
Yeah, that's what what did this one guy tell me? He said that like when he hears too many people talking at the same time. Oh, a really good example of this too. It's like, okay, having experienced, you know, what I think was psychosis at certain times in my life, I recently played this video game called Hellblade, Senwa's Sacrifice. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. I saw like a trailer. It looked cool.
So like when you put headphones in when you play this game, the main character has schizophrenia, and it has like binaural mixing on it to where it sounds like it's in your head, and there's two voices that are just constantly talking as you're playing, and just scrutinizing every little move that she is making as she's walking through. They're like, stupid girl, what's she doing? Oh, she really thought that was a person, what an idiot. Like, and I played it for like 15 minutes, and I was just like, I can't play this shit. Like I took it off. It was just like, I feel like it's gonna make me all of a sudden, like, you know, it made me so uncomfortable. And it was very like interesting though, because I was like, what the fuck just happened to me? Like, why did I get so like up here from this, you know?
That's something like I could. It also sounds interesting to me. I don't think I would want that, but it sounds just interesting. I was watching this video with a friend of mine. He really loves video games. I do too. Where he mentioned something about like a haptic bodysuit. I'm like, no way, that's a thing. Like you put on a suit and like feel things. That's wild. And we watched the video, and it appears like it's just. I'm assuming it's like a soft vibration, similar to like a controller. If like let's say you're playing a game that has guns, and if you get shot, it's like a little vibration. And then this one guy making this video, he's like, you know what? I want to make this even more intense because I don't like this feeling. It's too weak. and he like put sandpaper in the suit, and then he put like nails, not nails, but like spikes.
Yeah.
And like as he was playing, he was describing. He's like, "Oh my god, that actually hurts," but like he was like said it with a smile and like with laughter. Maybe the smile and laughter was like a result of like, "Holy shit, this actually works. It hurts. It causes pain." And then me the whole time, I'm like, I definitely don't want that, but it makes sense. Like I definitely wouldn't want it, but I'm intrigued. Like I wouldn't want to play a game and actually get hurt. Like I want to avoid that at all costs. But it's interesting.
Yeah, like it has like a big warning, like right when you start it up, and it's like trigger warning for anybody who has had, you know, like a psychotic experience or schizophrenia. Like, and it was designed by people that have schizophrenia too. So they're like, they test it out and they're like, yep, like this is when I don't take my meds. This is what happens. This is what it sounds like. And it's like, fuck, that's got to be miserable, man. Like mental health is fucking, you know, people are like, I'm glad that so many more people are aware of this shit and it's not as much as a like taboo as it used to be, you know. And that's relatively new. I want to say that's like last 5-6 years type shit, you know. And you know, I feel like it's maybe a positive byproduct of, you know, corporations, you know, fucking having to like, you know, change the way they do business and shit. Cause like in video games, I was watching something earlier today and they were saying that like companies are so afraid of getting sued nowadays that certain games are like taking away voice chat, like on online games. And they're like, there's been a decline in video games in the last like few years where there's nothing like big. Like when I was a kid, like Halo came out and it was like, oh fuck, like everybody's online. It's so cool. But now it's like, there hasn't been anything big like that or groundbreaking, and they're pulling back on things because the companies are afraid of getting sued. And it's like they do it because they don't want someone to offend somebody else, you know, or like you get instantly banned, like, and it's to the point where people like abuse it, you know. But I think it is kind of a good thing. But it's another thing that I was reading about recently too, is they say that like since the 2000s, I think they said that like the suicide rate has increased in young adults and teenagers, you know, like phenomenally, like by a large amount. And it's terrible. And it's social media, like 100%. Like that's the correlation, you know. It's like you have these insane fucking standards and unrealistic representations of what life are like. And then like there was a tribe that was exposed to fucking, I don't know if you saw that, but there was a tribe that was given internet by Elon Musk. Like he hooked them up with this shit called Starlink. And then like within months they all became addicted to porn. And that's like all they like. This was like one of those like tribes that had no contact with like society and everything. And then and then they're like the white man. They're adopting the ways of the white man, like the elders in the tribe.
That's messed up. My go-to thought is obviously laughter because it's funny. But then I thought of like cannibal exploitation movies from the 70s and 80s, like especially the Italian stuff. And so now I'm imagining like a modern cannibal exploitation movie. Like this imagine like a group of people. They're like, oh, we're gonna go provide internet to these people, you know, connect them with other societies around the world. That way they can share their wisdom with people and they can learn from other people. So it's like all good intention. And then they're like, yo, this is like the internet. You could do this thing. Look, you could like look. There's other people around the world and they do this thing. Like, oh hell yeah, that's sick. This is cool. Like, what else can you do? They're like, type in anything you want. Like here, like learn this typing stuff. Learn all the skills you need. Just type whatever you want to find. And then it's like, want to fuck local singles here? Want to meet hot moms here? They're like, what? They click on it. And then it's just like every guy is just on the ground. Ah,
just a fucking this entire fucking tribe just
and then
just becomes a goon fest.
Yeah,
it just devolves into, dude. That'd be fucking funny. And then one's like trading stocks, hella. One dude's just like hella rich.
He's like, y'all are fucking.
I am on Wall Street bets. Like fucking, he's got like a loincloth, but he's like a fucking billionaire and shit. Like that's fucked up. But that's brilliant. They gotta do that. That's it. That's a whole fucking dude. That's a series right there. That's like a fucking Netflix series. I'd watch that shit.
Has to be written by the tribe, what's the word, presented in the show, or it could always be just like some fictitious group that hasn't been in contact with any people. Maybe like imagine like some fundamentalist Mormons in Utah or something, or Colorado. They're like, yo, check this out. Maybe that's already real life. They're like,
Oh yeah.
yo, internet.
Fuck, dude, that would be brilliant. Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. We live in a fucking. I mean, it's a, you know what though? People are like, oh, we live in an interesting time. It's like, no, there's always been interesting shit going on. You know, it just depends on what perspective you look at. You
Yeah.
know, the shit from, and I think like, I mean, shit, being a person who's, you know, bringing 2 kids into this fucking world, like, I'm definitely like, it's like it's sad, but it's like I'm optimistic for the future, and I feel like it's like life really is what people make of it, you know, and everybody has different circumstances, and a lot of us are products of our environment, you know, but the best thing that we can do, like the people that are aware of this kind of shit, is just like, all right, well, be the best influence that you can on the things you can directly influence, you know, and just fucking spread that love, and you know, do the best that you can to like make other people see that if they don't. And you know, one thing I've been trying to, and I was talking to you a little bit about this before we fucking started, but I realized, and I've just recently accepted, that not everybody's gonna like me, you know, like no matter how hard I try. And it's crazy I'm saying this at age fucking 31, that I'm like just now realizing this shit. But you know, I feel like a lot of the disconnect that I was telling you that I'm having with people when I like am like, hey, look, I'm doing this, they just don't like me. And that's the reason, you know, things don't go the way they should go. And it's like, or I think they should go in my mind, you know. But you know, I mean, if you're gonna live with feces above and below you, I wouldn't want to do that, but maybe that is for some people too.
Yeah.
You know. that that drives me crazy. That just yeah, but you know, it is what it is. It's, you know, Monumental Discharge. You gotta make a song about rat feces too, man. Because
Whole animal feces album.
I'll do a feature. I'll do a vocal feature on something if you want me to.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking, and then
A rat feces song would be sick.
yeah, dude. Oh, that's my favorite thing about writing is like when I can write vocals, I like never have walked away from something like, oh, I could have done better. I never think that when I write lyrics. When I do anything guitar, drums, any actual like making music, like composing a song, other than the lyrics, I always walk away like, oh, I could have done that better, or I fucked up there. But with vocals, it's like maybe on the actual execution of recording, I'm like, oh, maybe I could have done that better. But the writing, I feel like that's my favorite part.
I have zero moments in life when I'm like, oh, that was perfect. But like I love that too, because like maybe I use it as like a too much, but like I think of like whenever I compose something or record something or write something, I'm like, all right, cool, move on to the next thing. Maybe I could spend more time with it and change it up a bit, but I'm like, nah, I'll just move on and do another thing. Maybe that's what helps me be so productive with my creations. I have a bunch of different projects and a bunch of different music written and recorded. And when I'm writing and recording, it's just like, here's the idea, that's the execution, and then I'll fix it up, do it again, and then move on. Then I'll listen back. I'm like, I could have done this part here, or I should have switched this up, or I changed this order, or like done this, or like, oh, I hate the vocals I did on this song, or I love them here, but so like I never have like anything where I'm like, yes, perfect. But what I have very frequently is like, cool, next.
Yeah. Yeah, and you ever like write something where you're like, and then someone tells you like, yo, that is the dopest shit you've made. And I'm just like, that's happened to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I meant that. I feel like it was supposed to be like that, you know.
Not quite. It's kind of like the opposite. I'll come up with things like, this is sick, and they're like, let's do this instead. And
Oh,
I'm like, sure, let's do that. Fine. But
but
then other people are like, hell yeah, I like how you do this. And I'm like, they recommended it. But like sometimes I'll be like writing stuff and I'll like hear it in my head. I'm like, all right, this is what's gonna happen. The audience is gonna do this. This is a hey part. Like there's a react to this part. And then the other people in the band, they're like, no, we're gonna do this part because then it's gonna be like this type of vibe. And I'm like, okay.
I know it's like that like the subtle compromises that you make like with your bandmates and shit, and like it things always pan out for the good, right? Like I feel like with Fluids, I'm like, you guys take the fucking reins, you know, because I mean they have their formula. They've been doing it for so long, and it's like whenever we're doing some shit, if they're like, hey, do this or do that, I'm just like, let's go, let's fucking do it. Like it there, I do know that little feeling that you have though, where you're like, oh, well, okay. I thought what I did was sick. You know, like
Yeah.
when we did the album, I did one song where it sounded exactly like an old Fluid song, and then they hit me up and they're like, "Nah, dude, like do it faster. We want you to sound different than the other guys." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So then I like did it, and I think the song was Marrow, and fucking they were like, "That's exactly what we wanted," and I was like, "Oh, sick!" Like, you know. And then now fucking people are telling me like, oh yeah, that's like the most different one, and I'm like, sick, dude. Like, you know, I like the end result is always like worth it, you know, when you make that like compromise or like that you know, you go with like somebody else's direction, you know. And I think that that's like really good for I think that it's like just really good when you can do that in a band, because I've been in bands where if there's a disagreement, like fuck, like there have been times where like I would write some shit that's like too hard for the other guys to play, and then they're like, nah, and I'm like, nah, dude, like this has to be this way. Like the fuck, like
Yeah.
stop being an amateur. It's like we're all amateurs, we're just kids, you know, like.
It's a good way to deal with the ego and how to let go. Because you're like, oh, this is sick because I made it. It's not sick because it's sick. It's sick because you made it. Sometimes it is sick because it's sick. But like, let's say you're like you write a riff or something, you come up with a particular part or you have an idea, and you share it, and they're like, nah. Then that's a good moment for you to be like, oh shit, if you all said nah, I should think like, why did you think that, and like respect that and like understand it. But naturally, it's so deep within us to say no. I write because I did the thing. But it's great to let go and embrace other people's ideas and perspectives. And this works for like anything, not just music composition and collaboration, but like anything. Like you have an idea, it's like cool, that's your idea. Think about other people's ideas. And then this is like the good thing, but it's also the challenging thing of society at large, or within just like some small community of some friends making music. Like you have ideas, and you got to work together to make them fuse together cohesively in a particular way that it resonates with all of you, with the hope of like sharing this artistry with other people.
Yeah, it's like you all are working towards the same end goal and that love of what you're doing to begin with. So it's like you have to find that humility to like be a unit. And it's really special, you know, when you can find a group of people like that. Um, Speaking of very special projects, when are we getting some new Telluric Effluvium?
Soon. I don't know how soon, but I'm waiting to hear confirmation from a particular festival, and that'd be sick to play that. This particular festival that we're waiting from. I'm just waiting for an email back, so I need to hurry up. But I have 3 things lined up for the future for Telluric Effluvium. For that one, I write the music, and for the first album, I co-wrote the lyrics with the other guitarist. She and I wrote the lyrics. And then for the second album, I was like, yo, let's write lyrics again the way that we wrote them for the first album. And I was like, what ideas do you got? And then every idea I came up with, she's like, that one. I was like, God damn it. I'm like, but what are you thinking? Like, let's collab. She's like, all right, here's this stuff. Actually, no, let's do what you said. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. But I love the writing of the first album, because it was like I made this Google Docs. I made like a table, like a left side for you, right side for me. Let's just brainstorm ideas, and then brainstorm ideas. All right, next, another little table, left side you, right side me. It's like, all right, let's narrow them down a little bit. Let's just get like a basic idea for each line, and then another table, left side you, right side me. All right, now let's say the exact words that we want, and then that will be the final lyrics. And that's how we did that. I tried to do a similar process with the second one, but it's just like all my ideas. But the next three things, one is a potential cover of another song, not Funeral Doom. So we're gonna take a song, make it Funeral Doom. But I'm thinking maybe only do that live. The other two ideas, I have written like on paper. I haven't recorded anything yet. But one thing that I like to do when I'm composing is I'll write little notes on paper with a pencil or a pen on paper. I could like type it out, but like for some reason, just writing with something with my hands, it helps me get certain ideas out. So for one of the ideas, it's one song, just 50 minutes, summed up or like chopped up in a few different chapters or movements, but still one song. And the other idea is maybe more along the lines of the second album, which has 5 songs, and in total it's like just under 40 minutes. So those are the 3 ideas. I haven't have anything recorded yet, but whenever I do, it will also most likely be, or I shouldn't say so confidently, but like it would be cool if it were also through to Transylvanian Recordings, because
that was my next question. Yeah,
I worked with them before, because another band of mine, Nithgraph, we put out an album. I think he pressed both my first 2 albums with that through on tape through Transylvanian Recordings, and then he did a compilation of the 2 albums that just came out, and then the third album, I'm gonna announce it soon, and that's through him. But yeah, so more to Lyric Effluvium. It's on its way. It's taken its time, because it's mainly just me doing the compositional stuff. But we're also waiting for this festival, because we want to play it. It seems sick. It's very fitting. And for that project, what the members and I, what we're really about is like, it has to be a certain mood when we play. Because like the first album's just one song. I divided it into like 3 different tracks, only because when I was uploading it to Bandcamp, it's like, this file is too big. I was like, God damn it.
that's how.
So I was like, all right, 3 tracks. But it's one song.
Yeah, it's like Sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep, just fucking dope smoker is just like, you know what though? I like your shit better than that. Like that's what when I first heard Telluric Effluvium, I was just like, fuck, like this is like what like Funeral Doom like should be. Like all of it, you know. It like, I don't like any like other real, like, I mean, just the name, you know, it's like that death smell from the earth, you know, and it's just like it's so dope. It, I just I've never really vibed with that type of music, but your project in particular gave me a second, like, you know, a second listen like to it, and I can't
feel
wait to hear more.
Thank you. For me, like, I love like just the most generic Funeral Doom band. Like, I know there's like so many different bands within Funeral Doom, and they all sound different, but like, I love it. It's just so simple and slow and rotting. And
The only other band I would put up there with your band is Ceremonium. Like, that's like a band that I actually discovered way later. After hearing your band, I was like, ooh, like they're hella good. But, and I'm sorry, Roy Fox, if you watch this, but that fucking Ceremonium demo it's nice to have in the collection. I'll just put it that way. It's nice to have, but I want the full length they did. They put out this full length. They're a band from the '90s that did a demo and then a full length, and then the full length was fucking amazing. And it's literally like when it was described to me, Dirt Riff showed me. He was like Ceremonium, and I was like, "What do they sound like?" He goes, "Exactly what the band's name fucking is." And I was like, "What?" And I listened to it. I'm like, "Yes, it is." And then fucking the demo. I bought it blindly, like without listening to it, because I was like, "Oh, sick! I'll get the Ceremonium demo." And then it sounds like it was recorded in a bathroom on a tape recorder.
Yeah.
You know,
The original idea for the first album that Telluric Effluvium had, we're like, you know what? Let's just rent like a cabin in the woods, and let's just use our phones to record. As like we'll have a phone up top as like the overhead for everything. We'll have phones like directed towards the amps, and those will be that, and then we'll mix it and stuff. But like, let's just do this, the most basic stuff.
no shit.
That was the original idea. We didn't go with it, but we wanted that.
I was about to say, holy fuck! I was like, dude, I'm gonna do that.
No, but that was the original idea. We're all like, hell yeah! And then we're like, yo, what if we just use the fucking interface at our house because we have one? And we're like, all right, I'll do that. But I'm glad that you understand what Telluric Effluvium means, because a lot of times people are like, huh? Which is like, it's understandable, because like no one says Telluric, no one says Effluvium, unless you're in like science or if you're into funeral doom.
Yeah.
And so like that like death smell of the earth. That's what I want it to be. And I remember I was talking with Transylvania Recordings, and he's like, bro, no one talks like this. Like, what is Telluric Effluvium? And I was like describing it. He's like, that's like, no one talks like that. I'm like, I know, but it's like, it's perfect. And then he's like, all right, I like it. We'll put it out. I'm like, hell yeah, thanks. But like I imagine like rotten corpses, but it doesn't have to be human bodies, and it doesn't even have to be like a body, just like rotten organic stuff coming from the earth and drudging through. And I feel like that's what I want, like the guitar riffs to be. I want the vocals to be like that. I want the vocals to sound like you're gargling on like dried mud. And then the second album, compositionally, I changed it up. I was like, I'll do more traditional things. So instead of having one 30-minute song, I'll have like a 13-minute one, a 9-minute one, a 2-minute like interlude thing, and all these other ideas. But like that's the beauty of having all these ideas, is I could like do them through different projects and not like taint what Telluric Effluvium is, or not taint just one particular project. So I guess like some of my bands.
I'm sorry.
Some of my bands. Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
gotta go check on my son real quick. It sounds like
All
he
right,
just took some furniture down.
Oh shit.
My bad. I'm like, my son's room is directly above me, so I hear like a bang. It sounded like a fucking dresser fell over. And then I go up there and he's got like this big round piece of wood. He's only 2, and he's just throwing the thing across the room. And my wife's just like chilling on the couch. She's like, "Oh yeah, he's just doing crazy shit." I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Is he all good?
Yeah, he's just fucking psycho. He's like a fucking methed out alligator, dude. Like he just doesn't. He's relentless.
Right before that, we were talking about caloric effluvium stuff, but you said the word dresser, and that made me think of the band Cabinet. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're I don't know how many releases they have, maybe like 3, 4 or more, but I'm pretty sure it's just one guy, and it's kind of funeral doomy at parts. It's like a little black, a little doom, a little death, and it's very dreary. And I think, based on the song titles and my interpretation of the song titles, I think everything's just about cabinets. Like that's the lyrical themes. The band's called Cabinet. I commented on like some YouTube channel like posted one of the albums, and I was like, I love the lore of this band. And then someone commented, and it was like, oh, what is the lore of this band? I'm interested to know. Like, I think it's just fucking cabinets. Like,
Yeah, it's just a
that's
cabinet
it.
band. It's fucking crazy, dude. There's so many weird bands out there like that.
Yeah.
Like where you're just like, like it's just so fucking weird to me.
I feel like because I take part in this too. Like, I mean, of course, so many feces themed bands, and I'm in one of them. But like, with another brutal death metal project, I'm in Stricterotomy. All the lyrics is about strictures, and that's just like a surgical topic. And why did I pick that? I'm like, I heard the word, and I'm like, all right, stricterotomy. And then I looked into it, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then I read a bunch of medical and surgical journal articles about it. I was like, cool. But I think like a lot of people, maybe we pick these dumb niche like themes for our lyrics as an attempt to like stand out. But then again, maybe it's just a result of like the hypersaturation of the community of metal music. And I've heard people say things like this. The Adam, the main guy from Behemoth, he said in an interview something like, "Oh, there's too much metal." And I remember a lot of people responding like, "Oh, how could he say such a thing?" Of course he would say that because he doesn't want like that's his like his business. He doesn't want to lose money to other people and other competitors. But I mean, like, I agree with them. There's way too much. There's way too much of everything in the world. There's too much humans. There's too much music. Too much fucking garbage ideas. But at the same time, I'm always welcoming more, and I want more. I think there's too much music, but I want more of it. Not just for me, but I want more music because maybe like someone's gonna release an album. I'm like, I don't like this. Someone else is going to like it, and that's going to inspire them to do something. Maybe that's like, oh, this makes me want to be a painter, or this makes me want to like study, or this makes me want to relax and have a good time, or this makes me want to play this particular instrument. So if it's not beneficial for me, hopefully it's beneficial for other people. But I do think there's too much music, and maybe that's why there's so many bands with like stupid ass, niche ass lyrical themes. Hence, Cabinet.
Yeah, it's weird to see what sticks too. It's like I said, those bands that I was talking about earlier, where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, but then again, too, like, I mean, Fluids was the same way. Like, they put out the fucking thing, and then next thing you know, like, everybody fucked with them. Arterial Rift, when that came out, it just, like, went out there, and, it's interesting to see, like, what people latch on to, and they're just like, man, like, they really, like, for me, and, like, I don't know, I guess I think I'm so open minded. I will listen to shit that like I'll give it a couple listens before I determine if it's garbage, And people call me a fucking poser for that because I don't just listen to the same fucking 5 obscure bands that, other people do and then gatekeep the shit out of them, And it's like I think it's funny because I don't think I've ever met somebody in a band that's a gatekeeper. It's always the people that listen to shit that do the most gatekeeping.
Mhm.
You know, it's like they don't have a creative bone in their fucking body. They just want to feel an exclusive member, feel like an exclusive member of the club.
I'm pretty sure I agree with what you just said. I saw like a YouTube thumbnail on a title, and it said, I think it said something like, why gatekeeping is important, and I was about to click on it, like, ooh, I want to hear this take. But then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna give into this. I mean, like, to maybe some extent, I think some concepts within gatekeeping are important. Kind of like for like what I just said, like I want everyone to make music, and if everyone makes music, it's like holy shit, like you call that music, man? Like that fucking sucks. But then again, that's my opinion, and that my opinion doesn't matter. But I feel like maybe the people that think gatekeeping is important, maybe they think, I don't know, it's an idea. Maybe they think like, all right, if we gatekeep, only the really good music is going to be made. But that's I think that's an erroneous idea because music is obviously art, it's subjective. Because if someone just does some gurgles over some gravity blasts, I might be like, hell yeah, fucking send me that. I want to listen to it. Whereas most people are like garbage, absolutely trash. What if someone like learns a G major chord, a C major chord, and a D major chord? So many people are like, hell yeah, that's fucking sick. And I'll feel the opposite, like, no, man, that's so fucking, I don't want that.
Yeah, it's the same thing I've fucking heard a million times, and it's like, it's interesting, man.
We have to gatekeep the gatekeepers. So you have to be a musician to be a fucking gatekeeper. If you're not a musician, fucking shut up.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. 100%. Yeah, show me. You have to be involved. Like, no, instead of like name 5 songs by a band or whatever, it's like name 5
Play
bands. Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, because there are gatekeepers that do play guitar too, but they just play other people's music, you know? Like, it'd be like name 5 of your own bands that have 2 releases each, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
what and you know what though, I always get everyone on this one that's a gatekeeper too. No one can name fucking an album by Papa Roach. You know, name one album that if you don't.
I saw that one documentary, bro, about like how they grew up in Sacramento, and like that song is about like their friend. Have you seen that documentary?
No.
I'm not a big Papa Roach. I'm not a Papa Roach fan at all. But,
I'm not a big I'm not a big Papa Roach fan. I just got all their records.
but like
sealed.
On YouTube, it's like the story behind Papa Roach. So I'm like, why do I want to watch this? And I clicked on it and I watched the whole thing, and it like, I feel like the majority of the documentary is just like the story behind Last Resort. They're like, yeah, this is about our friend. He was feeling suicidal, so like I wrote a song about it.
I think I did see a clip from that.
I watched the whole thing, man.
Yeah. He was like, I just started writing the lyrics, cut my life into pieces, suffocation, no breathing. And I was thinking, man, people are going to go crazy when they hear this. They're going to freak out. And then they show like the guitarist and he was like, we heard it. And we were like, that's sick. Like,
oh my God. But yeah, so I watched the whole thing. What I learned is they're from Sacramento, or at least that's what I remember. And Michael from Barbaric Brutality, I don't know if he's originally from Sacramento, but I know he was living there, and that's where I met him. And so I was like, yo, bro, fucking Papa Roach, Sacramento. And he's like, yo, hell yeah. I feel like he could name a Papa Roach album.
Dude, I love Mike.
Or 2.
I'm such a piece of shit. I like feel so bad because like I've met Mike one time. I went out there, we ate hot chicken, and then I had 2 tickets to Andrew Callahan because he was coming to town with Channel 5 or whatever. And I fucking go out with Mike. We like ate some chicken, and then we like went to go to the place, but we were driving separate cars. So like I parked and I go up to the front, and the reason I got tickets was because my friend was fucking in the show. So my friend like comes up to me and he grabs me like before Mike shows up at the venue, And fucking, he's like, hey man, we're going backstage right now. We're about to go up. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, my boy's about to be here. Like, I'm waiting 5 minutes. Don't worry about it. I'm going to send someone out to your boy to grab him as soon as we get in. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go in there. I'm in the back with the Hoff twins, Andrew Callahan, and all these guys. And they're all doing drugs in the back. And I'm just like watching, like, what the hell? And when I'm saying, I mean drugs, like what, you know? So I'm just like, this is weird. I'm watching this whole like scene unfold, and then I go back, or no, I text Mike. He's like, where you at? And I'm like, dude, I'm backstage right now. He said he's gonna send someone out to get you. So I'm sitting in there for what feels like 30 minutes or some shit, and then they're like, hey, let's go out. I'm like, cool, can I get my boy? And he's like, yeah, it's cool now. My boy was the closer for the fucking show, dude. So I call Mike up. I text him like 2 more times. He doesn't say nothing. I call him like twice. He doesn't pick up. And then finally he texts me back and he's like, no, it's all good, dude. I left after like 20 minutes. Like fucking, and I just felt like the biggest piece of shit because I got him to come out. I mean, we had a cool meal together, you know, but Mike, I'm sorry still. I talked to you. I think I've talked to him since. Just about some other shit, but I feel like such a piece of shit because I was so stoked to meet him and then got dragged backstage, and then like I probably seemed like a total asshole that night. But I literally kept getting promised that you were gonna come back, and then they were telling me once you go out you can't come back in. I was like, I can't get him. They're like, no, you don't have a pass. Let me get you a pass. I'm gonna ask Andrew for a pass. That's what he kept saying. I'm gonna ask Andrew for a pass, and then someone will come out and grab him for you. It's fucked up. But fuck
Damn.
Andrew Callahan too now. So he's a sex pest. But I gotta wrap this up. We probably have, I want to say, like 3.5 or maybe 4 hours going, included with the last section.
Yeah.
Anything you want to leave the crowd off with tonight?
Don't be a gatekeeper unless you know at least 3 Papa Roach albums, the names. Bonus points if you know song order. Second is drink water and write riffs. Share the riffs, and then get better at writing riffs and then share those riffs too. Third, listen to Cesspit Earth if you want to. It's on Spotify and all that stuff. You can buy a cassette from us on Bandcamp. You can buy shirts on Night Shift merch. We also have CDs of our first album. You can buy that from us on Bandcamp as well. Watch our music videos if you're interested in that. Share it with your friends if you like. And comment on our stuff. Let us know what you're thinking, how you like it, what you're thinking. And have a lovely day.
Hell yeah, everybody. That's Kevin Bursler, Monumental Discharge. Go stream it now. Links will all be in the description to purchase and listen to Cesspit Earth.